Hello, everyone. Welcome to Under the Tea, the only podcast that is absolutely professional and absolutely full of nothing but crazy cool things. I am very excited for tonight. Tonight's going to be absolutely exciting.
Still alive? You made it?
How are you guys today?
Doing good.
You're doing good.
Elka knows how I am because we've been researching all day together.
We have.
Yeah, that's what we've been
Yeah.
doing, researching.
We have. We've been talking all
Dolphins.
day about things to come, and I
love
think
that video games.
I think today is going to be exciting. Well, I mean, okay, we did play video games today, yes. Mostly because I was not feeling very good,
Oh, that's fun.
and I was trying not to die.
Elka
Mhm.
got a tummy ache.
I did,
Easy.
just a little bit, and but we decided to spend a day so that we could continue gathering things we wanted to talk about, because we didn't feel like it would be good if we did it
Good.
yesterday. So today we're going to make the stream
Damn it, Lumi.
the
You're welcome.
absolute best it could ever be.
Yeah, it's 'cause
We're going to make the podcast great again.
oh.
The only
Make the
podcast filmed
podcast
underwater.
great again.
Yes. We're going to make it great again. And Lumi's going to be the one most helpful for that.
Fine.
We're gonna make the ocean great again.
Hmm.
We're gonna build a wall around it and make the crabs pay for it.
Make the crabs pay for it. See, because the crabs are the cool people. So we're going to make them pay for it. Anyway, how are you both doing today?
You asked that. We're doing
I
good.
did. That's how I'm doing today.
Elka's on loop chat. You gotta be careful.
I am. So, this week is a lot of call-out posts. We saw nothing but a lot of crazy call-out posts this week. Notwithstanding, a lot of people trying to cancel creators for the most mundane things, and then a lot of dumbass call-outs for some of the most stupid things, and some creators
leaving.
actually being racist. Like unironically, legitimately racist.
Oh, no.
And I feel like that's what we're talking about tonight.
Oh, no.
So I wanted to let chat know one of the individuals we're going to talk about here. I'm actually gonna I'm gonna bring up a first screenshot here. I guess I'll share it here, Mizu. I will share it to you. Screen here. Let me move that over to here. All right, we're going to talk about this individual, and then we're going to bring them on briefly to talk about their points. And I need to say this right now. You can be critical of this person. I am asking you not to be like overly mean. But like they do deserve the criticism that probably went their way for how they acted. And it was kind of dumb. And so how would you guys like to talk about this?
I mean, we
This
can just.
Is
We
your
can-
subject.
It is. It is.
This.
Okay.
We can go through each of the points
Yes.
that she brought up, and then we can talk about it.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. And then I think we can bring her on and see if she has basically changed her mind or not. Yeah. So to kind of give some context to this, Doki, former Ninja Sanji, now completely on her own, has been killing it with streaming. I think any stream, I'll be honest, when it comes to streaming, unless you're like super big like her, you kind of have to choose something fun that everybody knows you for. Otherwise, you can't really go very far. And Doki has like been doing fantastic, streaming whatever. She streamed, didn't she stream Arkham Asylum, I want to say? And then she was streaming like Helldivers, and then she streamed all sorts of games. And excuse me. I'm not quite sure who set this up. I'm assuming that Fillian probably reached out, or maybe she reached out. I have no idea. That's not important, but they were gonna get together and do a collab, and they were gonna talk about things while eating hot wings. And this individual, Ray, Abyssal Ray, decided to make a post that went somewhat viral. It went viral enough that, excuse me, that a couple of people talked about it, and including Rev. And I figured we would go through the points, and yeah, I feel like we should go through them and just talk about how dumb all of them are. And yeah. I need to bring up the rest of the ones, but we can start with this one. And I think in general we also want to talk about the reasons that people try to cancel Fillian. Now, I have been told by a couple of people that they don't like Fillian, and I mean, that's okay if you don't like a VTuber. However, I feel like not liking a VTuber should be rooted in actual reasons. And some of these reasons I feel like are somewhat I can see. Other of them I'm just like, I feel like you're reaching. So the first one that they bring up is the pro AI thing. And now I should say that Ray is an artist, and in fact, Lumi, you even brought up that like their art style isn't half bad. So I can kind of understand the AI argument, but why do you guys think that not a lot of people would why would people take issue at this point, in my personal opinion? I feel like we've talked about that many times, but what do you think?
It's like my personal stance on the whole AI thing is, as long as no one is profiting off of it, I don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
As long as there's no money being made off of it for, like, you know, just fun little art stuff, like how fucking Azahara does like some AI art stuff for Kirsha.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's labeled correctly and not making money off of it, I don't care.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I do think that like one of the things that kind of that somebody brought up is you can not really endorse AI, because like from what I understand, and people can correct me on this, Fillian really doesn't post a lot of AI art. Like, I know Pippa likes to play around with AI art because she thinks it's funny, but Fillian, as far as I know, they just have an AI art tag. Am I correct or incorrect on that? Do either of you know?
She just has an AI art tag, so then, you know, AI art can go in that tag, and then the real artists can put their stuff in the other tag.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so...
I don't know enough about her.
You don't know enough about it. That's fair. That's very fair.
That's just what I've heard.
And maybe when we bring on Ray, they can elucidate us on that. But it is basically what I've kind of come down to is like or dislike AI art. If you're a big creator like Fillian, you're going to have AI art made of you pretty frequently, I would feel. If you look on basically any image sharing website, I feel like Pixiv is probably the most popular. AI art is pretty rampant in the world, and you have to correctly label it because it can get taken down if you don't. And so I feel like, at least for me personally, I would include an AI art tag for myself, and I feel like all of us kind of should have an AI art tag, only because I want to have the difference between the two. Like, if somebody makes real fan art, and then someone makes AI art, AI generated art, I feel like it would be good for people to tell the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Ray's in the YouTube chat.
she used AI art before, and it is in her YouTube. Okay, there you go. There you go. Well, okay, I don't know how often she uses it, but regardless of this, so here is the eternal debate for AI art, and I think it is a losing battle, and Omni did a really good video of this. He had an interview with a really big artist. The name is escaping me right now, but Omni had a really good interview with a very prominent artist, and they were talking about the AI debate. And something that I feel like artists sometimes overlook is the fact that the government doesn't care about you. And that's kind of really mean to say. And I'm not trying to be mean to say this, but the government doesn't care if it's immoral. Especially right now, and this isn't really political, this is just a fact of life, especially when every country is trying to develop the AI that will rule the world. They really don't care if you're going to lose your job. They care if you can they care if you can innovate, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so the whole conversation around AI is, do I think it should replace artists? Obviously not. Do I think it will replace artists? That's a little bit more complicated. In my personal opinion, AI art will only replace the people that cannot adapt to its inclusion in our world. If that makes sense.
I think we shouldn't get too bogged down in this discussion.
I mean, fair enough.
Because it would be an all-night discussion.
Fair enough. Very fair.
Look, some people think AI is good. Some people think AI is bad. If you think it's bad, you're not gonna like her for using it. But I mean, there's nothing else really to discuss there because people are gonna have their opinion on it either way.
This is very true. This is very true.
And most people already made up their opinion on whether AI is bad or good. Very few people are having their minds changed one way or the other.
Very true. Very true. Thank you for bringing it back. So the question, does this make Fillian a bad person by using it? Maybe.
This is going to be a neutral.
It's
going to be completely debatable depending on who you are.
Yes. It's very neutral. I feel like this is a very neutral take. In my personal opinion. So I don't know.
You would have to have something more than her using it. You would have to have her creating like the actual AIs themselves using stolen stuff. You'd have to have her like scamming artists out of pieces to make AIs of their like art style. You need more than just she used it because that's just going to be a neutral for most everybody.
Yes. Yes, I agree. I agree. Now, the second, and there's not a lot of points to go over this, and then we'll bring on Ray. But the second point that I wanted to talk about, and this now, in preparation for talking about this next point that people don't like Fillian, I've asked quite a few people. I've asked some Black people, and I've asked a lot of other people, and quite a lot of them have pretty similar responses. And so, I guess a while ago, Fillian made a somewhat insensitive joke about George Floyd. And so I heard the joke, and I do think it is a very insensitive joke. I'm trying to remember who I'd talked to about it, but basically they chalked it up to it being a dead baby joke, if you guys are familiar with dead baby jokes.
Oh, I love dead baby jokes.
So
sometimes they're a little premature.
They are. Now, I did see the joke. I saw the context behind the joke, and do I feel like it was insensitive? Yes. Yes, I do. It's one of those situations where when you're talking about an individual that it was recently had like worldwide attention, and
It was 2 years ago.
it
Well,
was
2 years
yeah.
ago at that time.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where I would never say something like that, regardless of whether or not it was like a dead. I personally don't say dead baby jokes in general, but is it racist? Is the question I feel like a lot of people are trying to throw on her, because I've seen a lot of people say that she was being racist for it, and I don't think she was trying to be racist for it.
Okay,
In my personal
so,
opinion.
It's like, it's an offensive joke.
Yes.
And people say offensive jokes all the time. People say 9/11 jokes all the time. People make jokes about Indian people, Muslims, black people, Mexicans, the French that don't exist, stuff like that.
I'm sorry for your friend.
It's like, fuck the French. Anyways, like, fucking what was I gonna say? I literally just seen a joke on YouTube where, like, these two comedians were telling offensive jokes to each other.
Mhm.
And one of them, this dude, I believe he was Indian,
Wait, are we just...
but this other dude was like, "Hey, are you 9/11 or 7/11?" And he was fucking laughing. He was fucking laughing.
Oh my gosh.
And dude replied with, "Okay, no, that ain't racist. That's funny, but don't call me a Muslim again." I'm
Damn.
5'7" and oh, it was fucking
Oh my
funny. Jokes
And
are jokes.
So here's what I'll say. I definitely feel like, especially when it's something concerned around, situations like what George Floyd went through, I feel like you need to be more careful. But I feel like, has she made jokes like that? My whole thing is, like, how far away is the joke in time versus like how she's acting now? If she's making jokes like that now, yeah, that is like I think you can judge on. But I feel like people get really caught up in saying it's a racist joke when it's not a racist joke. Literally, her audience was like, "You're breathtaking," and then she said, "Oh, that's a George Floyd quote," and I'm sitting here like, yeah, that's kind of insensitive, but I don't feel like it's racist. It's a personal opinion.
I
think people get too bogged down in that. Look, it was a joke. You can not like jokes, you can like jokes. I don't think you can have a platform online that relies on free speech and then start policing what jokes can and can't be made.
I agree.
I think you can think somebody's a bad person if they, like, said it to the family, but saying it to the family is far different than saying it on the internet. Like, this is one thing that always comes up when people talk about it is, well, what about the other people of the internet that were hurt by it? It's like, why were they hurt by it? It wasn't your family member. You didn't know him. You have no idea who he is. You have no idea who the person you're calling out is. You have zero relation to this issue other than wanting to have a relation to this issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, again, people nowadays have been, I don't know how to exactly phrase it, but the comedy nowadays is extremely milquetoast compared to what, like, comedy movies and just comedy in general was when we were younger.
It is.
I mean, can you think of, like, Borat, White Chicks, Bruno, or Zoolander being movies that would be acceptable nowadays?
Absolutely
No.
not. There's a lot of
Borat
movies.
doesn't even think Borat's acceptable. He's a rug pulling every comedian.
Yeah, he is. And that's kind of sad. No, I do agree that comedy these days is pretty milquetoast. And when you have stuff like that, when you have people that aren't I'm not saying that people should be insensitive all the time, but what I am
Don't
saying,
get too bogged down in this, okay?
right. But what I am saying is, I feel like people are taking it way too much out of proportions. I feel like it's being taken out of proportions, quite a lot. I think it's one of those things where if she continues to make insensitive jokes that just feel poorly timed, then you can be more critical of her. But as far as I am aware, and people can correct me on this, she hasn't really made insensitive jokes, including Mr. Floyd, ever since. And so because of that, I feel like you can kind of just walk away from that and forgive it. I guess, so to speak. That's just my personal opinion on it. But yeah. The next point that we want to talk about, and it's kind of halfway down on this post here, is the mod allegations. And I think we talked about this very young into the podcast, or at the very least we talked about it at some point, where there was allegations, and I think it was true, where they had a predator as a mod at some point. Now, I don't know how true this is, and I don't really know the entire context of it besides whatever happened, they fixed it. I don't really know much more beyond that.
I don't think it. I didn't hear about the moderator being a predator. I heard about her letting someone on her talent show and remain in her server as a predator. Striker fucking Dawson. He has victimized a lot of people. He is a legit predator.
Okay.
And yeah, we can do a whole separate stream on him if we want to get into that shit. But no, that's something that Fillian should have handled. Shouldn't have let him on. And just like, you know, taking that shit as soon as the doc was handed to her mods and threw him out. She unfortunately gave him a platform.
So,
which made Hopeless Peaches make a whole video on him with voice call evidence, screenshot evidence, a bunch of fucking evidence. So yeah, no, that was her bad. That was her fault.
Okay. So
yeah.
Would you say that is a legitimate thing to be critical on her for?
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Again, it's one of those things where I don't feel like we really know the entire context of what happened behind the scenes. Like, I'm assuming that she was warned multiple times about it, and if I remember correctly, people just kind of pushed it down, and I don't know that for sure. That's just going off of what I remember. But if she was warned and appropriate action wasn't taken, yeah, that is a reason to be critical of her. So, but it's one of those things where I feel like I would need more information to make an entire argument out of. And yeah, the last thing I wanted to talk about, and then we'll pull on Ray and see if she has anything else that she wants to say, is she kind of just was like, apologize to the artists, and it's kind of going back to the AI thing again, and just saying she wanted to start a hashtag apologize Fillian. I don't think it went anywhere. And I don't know, the whole crux of this that kind of bothers me the most, because, like, you know, most of the time threads like this never even really get seen. I see dozens of them all the time, and most of them get less than 100 views or maybe a couple hundred views. They never really get attention. The reason why it bothered me is because Ray decided to say, yo, let's promote myself. And I feel like that's a little insensitive.
I mean,
maybe more than a little, but
in her defense, she did delete the self-promo post.
She did.
Yeah.
She did. And that is a good thing that that she did. But it just, when you want to call out somebody, and I do think that there are times where you should bring information to light. I personally don't like call out posts very much, but I do feel like there are times when you should call out hypocrisy. But to include self promos just makes it feel like you're not so serious. Now, you did retract it, which I do think that is a good thing, but posting this kind of it kind of gives less credence to what you're fighting for, and gives more credence to just saying, oh, you're a Fillian hater, so I don't have to believe anything that you say, which I think a lot of people definitely felt when this went down. And that's kind of the sentiment that I saw from a lot of people on Twitter.
Assignment target. All right, thank you. I'm gonna go deliver.
I mean, it's like, not everyone expects to have a quote-unquote hit tweet.
No.
So, like, I understand the little self-promo post. I probably would have done the exact same fucking thing if I had a hit tweet. I'm like, hey, look at my podcast. Let me shill this real quick.
But would you do it if you were calling out somebody for being a Predator supporter? Or
Yes.
like, really?
I would.
If I had proof that they were, then yes. If I was 100% concrete proof, yes.
Well, I guess maybe like maybe there's a right and the wrong way of doing it. I don't know. Maybe just like, hey, maybe I'll talk about this on the podcast, or if you want to learn more, I'm doing research on this. Follow the podcast if you want to learn more about what I'm finding. I guess that could be a better way of doing it. But
I mean, I'm gonna do it for my nemesis. Be like, hey, like, I'm gonna talk shit about her on the podcast.
that's a little different though, because that's a personal beef that you like to
That's the personal beef that I curate for myself.
yes. And I don't know if Ray has a personal beef with well, I'll tell you what, do you want to invite her on now and talk about it more with her? We are going to have her on for a few minutes, so
I will be right back real quick. I gotta quick do a thing,
Okay.
so you can get that set up.
okay. For sure. Alrighty.
I think Lumi forgot we have to make a separate call chat.
We'll wait for her to get back.
Oh, we
Lu-
should probably just go ahead and start it so we can hit the ground running.
All right, sounds good. Here, let me create a DM.
You gotta be proactive.
Yes, for sure. I agree. Oh, that's not how you spell your name. There we go.
Also, chat, speaking of nemesises, my nemesis is currently doing a stream talking about some drama, and I am immensely curious. After they-
Oh, that one? Are we going to talk about that tonight?
What?
Are we going to talk about that drama tonight?
Well, no, because I don't know what's going on.
Oh, fair enough. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start the call.
And then Lumi will show up whenever.
Yes.
Edit. Default
Oh,
override.
I need to put this on now. Hello, Ray. You are on the Underthetea Podcast. How are you doing today?
Hello, everyone. I'm
Perfect.
just a little nervous.
Hello, Lumi. You are here too.
Yeah.
All right, Ray.
Ow.
Welcome to the show. Now, when I reached out to you, I was more or less looking for you maybe to defend or even refute, or maybe even just like kind of update what you thought about everything you said, whether or not you wanted to change anything or anything. But yeah, basically, yeah. First off,
Yeah.
is there anything that you feel like you wanted to change from everything you said?
Like the self-promo thing is the first thing that I changed immediately,
Of
and
course.
that's a thread.
Mhm.
To give like a proper timeline for the events, that's only when I included the AI stuff, and then I included the what was it, like what she said about George Floyd and also the Predator situation. So I included the self-promo for just the AI part, and then I had to do some self-reflection. Like, that's not something you can do immediately. Like, you have to like give yourself time to think about about it before you go ahead and like make something that's like against your own morality. I was like, yeah, if I seen a thread and there was a self-promo and something that includes like the George Floyd and also a Predator situation, I also wouldn't like it. So I apologized for it, still got attacked for it, and also I don't know,
Indeed.
I just deleted it.
Indeed.
Because I did gain followers from it, so I was like, yay, followers. Yeah. But like, it's insensitive of me, so I just went ahead and deleted it, so
Right.
it's fine.
And we did see that. So yeah, I do think it's one of those things where, again, I personally feel like if you want to talk about a situation, I don't know. I'm just like, when I see people on Twitter do that, I never really like the whole, hey, I've got to hit tweet kind of thing, because it feels like it's all just off of the backs of like something big out there. Anyway, to bring the point back, it is, I would say, on the good side to have deleted it. Now, you are saying that
I agree.
you added it after just talking about the AI thing. So is your main gripe with Fillian just the AI thing when you made this?
It's not my main gripe. It's just like my main point, because I feel like I could talk about it more because I'm more experienced with the AI stuff. Just with the George Floyd comment, I've been told that she apologized afterwards, and I went to go look for the clip at my own time. I was like, okay, she did say sorry afterward, but like, it matters more about what she said after that too. I couldn't find anything. Like, you know, I know like Twitch VODs get deleted in like 30 days, and that was like 2 years ago.
Yes.
So I couldn't find anything else for it. So I don't know how sorry, in quotes, she felt about it. Like, if she actually did any self-reflection about it, or that's what I am specifically looking for. So I can't really talk about it, and I explained it in my thread to say like, hey, I didn't know if she apologized or not. And I said, I don't know, I can't speak about it if I don't know too much about it. So like, take it like with a grain of salt kind of situation. And it's the same with the Predator situation, because it was also something that happened a little while ago. And I still have a gripe with that, because it seems like Fillian herself didn't apologize her mod's behaviors. Like, I feel like I would feel a lot better if I was the victim in that situation and I got an apology DM like straight from Fillian's, like, yo, sorry about my mods, like, that's like not cool of them. Like, just like sending an apology like that would be probably like the best out of all that. Like, more like morally speaking. But in terms of the AI situation, the reason why I focus on it the most is because I'm mostly experienced about it. So
Yes.
that's why it's mainly about that.
Of course. Well, you did mention that, like, when it came to the Predator stuff and the George Floyd thing, you weren't as knowledgeable on it. If you didn't know a whole lot on it, like if you didn't know the full everything about it, why did you add it onto there?
I added it onto there because, like, I don't know, it was like you can like find out more information about it, and like, of course, like, I gave it like with a grain of salt, right? Like, I said, like, I didn't know if she apologized for it, so obviously people with critical minds would know, like, yo, she didn't apologize, like, she did apologize, sorry, afterwards, like, I just didn't know if she apologized for it. And so, like, you know, like, you can go and find that information yourself. It's like just a whole grain of salt situation. Like, I'm not responsible for, because like, if people are going to quote unquote cancel Fillian, they're probably going to find anything else regardless. So I might as well go delete the George Floyd comment thing. Like, I'm literally thinking about that now. I'll delete it out of my thread, since she did apologize for it like right afterwards. But like I said, like, I'm not entirely sure if she actually felt like sorry for it, like, in quotes.
The thing that kind of bothers me about it is like, you have a legitimate gripe on somebody, and you're an artist again, so I can already see the point of view that you're coming from as an artist dealing with the AI stuff, and that's not something I feel like anybody can take away from you, because that is your thing. Everything else, the problem I have is because it feels like you're not as, and you said yourself, you're hoping that people will do more research into it. The problem is people don't do research into it. People don't look into things. People will look at Twitter. They'll look at whatever the most hit thing is. And your stuff, to your credit, was a bit of a hit. It got enough people. It got Rev to make a video on it, which is in itself pretty big of a thing. Yeah. So if that is the case, I don't think that you should expect that people are going to have a critical of enough mind to say, oh, there's a joke about George Floyd, maybe I should look into that. No, most people, if someone says, oh, she made a joke about this guy that died, people are going to think, oh, it must have been a racist joke, because that's just how the internet thinks. Hell, before I knew the context of the joke, I was like, was it a racist joke? What was the context of this? And I asked a whole bunch of people, and I watched the clip. So I feel like the main issue that I have is not enough went into it. And you can't delete. Personal opinion, I don't delete anything. I feel like anything should be up there so people can judge me and recognize and see how I am now from where I was. But I feel like doing that is, and maybe you weren't intending this, but it just feels a little disingenuous because you're expecting people to look for the context when that's just not what people do ever. So can you see where I'm coming from with that?
Yeah, I could see where you're coming from. That's my fault, I guess. Like, I always do that in my own time. Like, whenever there's like hit drama going on, I always like to dig on videos about it and see like, yo, what's more information on this? Like, is there context behind it? Is like what's going on behind the scenes? Like, sometimes I forget how idiotic people are on the internet, so this is my fault.
Yeah, I'll go ahead.
Like, because we all know how vitriolic the internet can be, and seeing all these, how many call-out posts were there last week? Like, I think I seen like 16 different call-out posts.
You counted
and
them?
people,
Holy cow, that's a lot.
I have more in my bookmarks. But like, people will take things at face value, and then even if more evidence that says, hey, this is a lie comes out, some people just take what they seen first and run with it. And it's like, even if it's all a lie, they'll still be like, oh, but there must have been a reason why this was called out, or hey, this must have been another reason. Unfortunately, with how narrow-minded people are, you have to be very careful on what you say, because sometimes that shit can just bite you in the ass and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yes. Pretty much, yeah. I'll be honest, that is really the only thing that kind of like bothered me about it, because I do agree AI thing is a 50-50 on who you talk to, and there is a greater conversation to be had about it. But you got to be smarter about the posts, because here's the thing that I don't think a lot of people realize. If you make something that turns into a hit tweet and it's very controversial like this, you are essentially crippling a lot of future endeavors that you could have, because connections are everything. And when people don't want to connect with you because of posts like this, it can hurt you. I'm not gonna say it's a career ending, because I don't think it is. It really depends on the person, but I don't think this is. But you really have to be careful so that you don't ruin yourself before you have a chance to stand up and go, if that makes sense. So I would just be careful in the future posting stuff unless you know the full context, and unless you feel like you're gonna have people behind you on this, because I don't think a lot of people really got this. I don't know.
Hello.
Yeah, like when I was like checking through like Twitter, like I've seen that some people actually blocked me for it, so I get what you mean.
Yeah,
I understand that it's gonna happen. Like I am pretty experienced on the internet, but like, you know, I could forget like how dumb people can be. Even I'm kind of dumb in that way where it comes like that. But I do have a few things to say about AI. I ran a little experiment after this got delayed, so I'm actually kind of thankful it got delayed.
Okay.
Because I figured out some little information about the tolerating AI and why we shouldn't do that in the first place. So I went ahead and I did a quick Google search, and I went to images, and I went ahead and I counted all the images. So I searched up Shoto, like the VTuber. All these are VTubers. Fillian, Pippa, and then Iron Mouse. So keep in mind, Iron Mouse, of course, she's like, you know, the creator of the year, like VTuber of the year. So of course she's gonna have like more AI. But I would compare maybe Shoto to be like more precise and maybe like following for like Fillian and Pippa. So in my like little experiment that I did, I went to the images and I counted for real art like made by like human beings, and I went to go see how consistent it was in searching up art, AI art, and searching on certain top results for AI models. Like when you go to Google Images and you scroll down and you find an AI image, like an AI generated image of like a VTuber, and you go to that thing and you search up the VTuber's name, the top models there.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went to go Shoto art, there was I counted only up to the image 15 was an AI model, and then 33, 45, and 64. So that's like counting like 1, 2, 3, 4, like all the human arts made, and then like the 15th image being AI art. Does that make sense to you? Like, I don't know if I need to explain it more.
So
Oh no.
what you're
it's like,
saying is
I get it.
you're counting a lot of AI art for these top creators, is what you're saying?
No, like how do I explain it? It's like when I go and see the art for these images, they're made by humans, and then I count them until I see an image that is AI. So number 15 out of all those images from the Google search is AI art. Like, does that make sense now?
So every image that is number 15 is AI art, is what you're saying?
No, it's like when you go to Google Images and you search for like Shoto, there's only human art until number 15.
Mm-hmm.
And then I count more, and then number 33 is AI art, and then 45 is AI art. So it's like that, and I counted to see how consistent it was. So based on my experiment, Fillian and Pippa had more consistent art that was AI compared to Shoto and Iron Mouse. So tolerating AI, having a dedicated AI art tag means you will have more AI art in your community, and that you're not separating it from human art. You're actually increasing the amount of it.
Okay.
So that's why I don't tolerate AI art, because
I will
you're
say
just allowing it.
that makes no sense. That's correlation causation. Just because there is correlation doesn't mean there is causation.
I think there's a perfect thing for that. Like, it's pretty consistent with how I did my experiment.
So
Plus, I searched up the top results for the AI model. So it's like Easy AI website, and then there was like another one. So for Shoto, it had only 3 models, like dedicated models for his VTuber design. Then for Fillian, it had 9. For Pippa, it had 7. And then Iron Mouse, since she's bigger, she has 16. So if you have a dedicated AI art tag and you tolerate AI, you will have more AI art in your community.
Okay.
Because you're allowing it.
I don't think you understand is Google results are based on something called SEO, search engine optimization. Shoto and Iron Mouse have companies behind them that have managed their search engine optimization to ensure that all the top results are as close to their brand as possible. Pippa just wings it, and so does Fillian. The reason their results are so skewed is they have literally no search engine optimization.
Shoto's indie, though.
Yeah, they don't.
He's indie, quote unquote.
He's indie.
He's quote unquote indie.
What do you mean?
I have done enough
indie?
looking to shoujo that Shoto is quote unquote indie.
Like, sure, he got like a lot of support behind him, but like he is pretty much independent. You could say that Fillian isn't independent. She's part of Mythic Talent.
I mean, Mythic
If
isn't
you're
really
using
like
that, then Shoto is definitely not independent.
I think just kind of to wrap it around. I kind of see what you're saying. The problem is, it's too early to do these experiments. I feel like the pool is too small for this. Like, yes, 4 examples is a starting size for something like this, but I don't feel like it's really big enough to like I don't really feel like that matters too much right now.
Do you know how AI models are created?
Roughly, yes.
I can tell you for a fact that basically everybody on Twitter has no idea how they're created.
Oh, okay. So basically how they're created is that you have to curate the model in order to like make it generate the specific images that you want. So considering that Fillian and Pippa compared to Shoto have higher, like more AI models dedicated towards their talents, it's a little concerning because it means it's more accessible to more people, and you know, it's just like a lot more results. So if they really don't want AI arts to be made in their community, they can target these specific models and try to curate their page a bit more better.
Do you think that these creators actually do that?
No, I think it's a bit unrealistic, but
No.
My question is
if you're
why?
up for the chance.
That is a good question. Why? Like,
Because you have to think of what you're saying. You're saying because these two creators have made it like pretty clear that they don't care. So yeah, you're correct. In order to make an AI model, you need to have like all these images of the person you want to be made of in order to get an accurate enough readout. But that just means now you have an AI model that can make Fillians and can make Pippas. You don't have an AI model that can just do art. You have two very specific models that can make two very specific people and typically nothing else.
And they're allowing that by having a dedicated art tag for it.
I don't
Okay,
think.
but why does it matter? Because they don't
Because
care,
then we're-
and the models can't be
then-
used for anything else. So no other person is being hurt.
Because it's hurting artists altogether. Like, in order for an AI model to be created, it needs to steal directly from artists around the world.
This is not
and
true.
How
This
is
is
it not
something
true?
people have said because they didn't understand where the models were sourced from. Most people don't seem to understand the models were sourced from Facebook. The current gen of Stable Diffusion is made from a private subsidiary of Meta Incorporated, and this is something the artists did themselves. Because when you sign up for Facebook, when you post your art there, in their TOS, it says we can use your art for whatever we want. And
Okay,
this is what they
well,
used it for.
If we're being realistic here again, no artist is gonna know that is most likely going to be in there or would genuinely consent to that.
That same
Well, I
TOS
wouldn't
is in
consent to
Twitter.
Same
That
TOS is
same
in Twitter.
TOS is in DeviantArt.
DeviantArt.
If you signed
Mhm.
up for any site to post your art on, you have signed away rights for that site to take it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Every
why
single site,
there's a
even
huge
DeviantArt,
reason-
a friendly site.
That's why with when Hot Topic hosts art contest for like, you know, t-shirts and stuff, every single piece of art that was submitted for that contest can and will eventually be used for merchandise at the stores. I seen some artists try to sue Hot Topic because someone's art that they used for a contest was eventually used for shirts. They were like, "Oh, but why am I not getting royalties or whatever for this?" But it's because in the fine print of the contest, it said that you've given away rights to that piece of art, and they can use it for whatever they want.
Yeah, I feel like that's still a little different from like a social media site because a lot of people just want to post their art and not have it used in AI, but they have to tolerate that TOS because they need an audience. They need to sell their art. And if you're going to enter a contest, well, it should just be, you know, smart that you would read the TOS behind the contest that you're entering. You don't know what the fine print would be. It's completely different if you're an artist on social media.
Well,
But I think that's the thing a lot of y'all didn't realize. You sold away your rights when you did that.
yes, you did, because you signed up for a website. It can do whatever it wants. It can change its TOS whenever it wants, and they can decide whether or not they want to use it. I'm not going to say that's right. I don't honestly think it's right that they train models off of people's art that they made. I'm not going to say that's right or wrong. What I am going to say is you agreed to it when you signed up to the platform, and if you don't agree to it, get off of Twitter, get off of Facebook, get off of these platforms. And I mean, the only
That's kind
solution
of unrealistic for artists.
then evolve with it. That is the problem that I am seeing. And the argument that Omni was making is you need to evolve with it. Use it to your benefit. Because if you don't, it's not stopping. There is absolutely zero stopping on the AI train. People expecting that there is going to be a savior to come down and stop AI from coming, it's not happening. I don't feel like it's just not going to happen. If Taylor Swift can't march up to the White House and say, get these fake nudes of me off of the internet, they're not going to do it. So the response should be either fall down and die with your art or evolve.
And it's like what I seen currently with like how artists can protect themselves with nightshade specifically. A lot of people are saying when you apply nightshade to your art, do it on the either line art.
That is a good way to evolve, yeah.
A line art layer on the art or right before you render. So then it's harder for the AI thing to like, you know, break that shit down. So it's like, I personally myself, like I said earlier, as long as no one is making money off of AI or saying that, hey, look at this is my own original piece, look at this, so fancy, whatever. I think it's good to have dedicated tags for it so then it is separated from like, you know, real artist work and like, you know, I would never commission somebody to do AI work for like my character. I will always go out of my way to pay artists because I've been doing that since I was able to use PayPal.
I agree.
And it won't stop me now.
I would say also that I think that there's a lot of fear from artists on people just replacing them. I think that at the very least for right now, and I'm speaking on behalf of all of the normal people that exist in the world, as somebody who has messed around with AI just to see how weird it is, I got pretty bored of it because there is nothing that will replace a human's hand to paper or to a computer screen and make something custom. The artist who made my model and has drawn pretty much everything that I have art-wise, I would never replace because I would rather have a human that could compose something than a robot that can just spit out things that don't feel the same. So I feel like a lot of artists are afraid of a replacement that honestly only the real poor boys are going to use, and you're not going to get anything from them anyway because they don't have money to give you. So I understand that there is a scarcity of it, but I would not worry that like you're going to stop getting commissions from people if you throw out art out there, because the only people that are going to stop are the poor people, the people that can't afford it in general.
I included in my thread that people are losing their jobs because of this.
They are, and that is
So you saying that they're losing their commissions is kind of like not really true. If they're losing jobs, it's kind of like, you know, the same, just financially speaking. Like,
I mean,
it's very much not, because you're talking about the major companies that could give a crap less about human life immediately firing people as soon as they could. They were going to do that anyways.
Oh yeah,
and you're not going to stop them from using AI because they don't care.
No, yeah. Listen,
they will
I would
never
say that
care.
there is a difference between, you know, normie AI and then major corporation use AI, because they have a lot more advanced AI programs than that the general public is allowed to use.
Exactly. Oh yeah. I will say,
think us as like, I think us as like consumers, this shouldn't really tolerate or allow AI altogether, because if I see, I don't know, for example, like a short film just use AI, I'll be like, yo, I'm just not gonna watch this. I'm not gonna tolerate it.
well,
I'll probably even like post about it online saying, don't watch this. It's not made by human artists. And I'll continue not to tolerate it because it's absolutely disgusting. It's taken away from human artists that are losing jobs, losing commissions. Like, what makes art so special in the first place is because it has a human touch, and it's losing the human touch because machines are making it, and it's stealing
it lost that
the
a long
artist.
time ago.
here's what I'll say.
I don't know where people got this idea that art has always had like this soul to it. Art lost its human touch forever ago. That's why AI even came about to
That is
start with.
so untrue.
That is so true. There's so many.
I disagree
Not just that.
wholeheartedly.
There's so many commission artists that are just straight scammers that don't give a shit. Artists have rested on their laurels for so long because they just assumed people would go along with it forever.
Yeah,
And
that's only
as soon as there was an
specific people.
alternative, there is like a large segment of people that just left because they couldn't deal
That's
with
only
it anymore.
specific people. That's not all artists altogether. Like, there's so many different artists out there. So
See,
it's
though,
kinda-
why is it when we talk about artists doing bad stuff, that's not every artist? But then when we talk about consumers doing bad stuff, it's a massive problem. We all need to come together as a group and deal with it. That's why artists can't get people on their side on this. Because nobody wants to deal with the bad artists. Nobody wants to call them out. Everybody just hides from
I see
it.
a ton of callouts for bad artists all the time.
Take one for example that happened. There was a major call out for a bad artist. You know how many victims they had? Over 100. And it had been going on for 7 years. That is not constant call. That's common. That's not constant call-outs. That's years and years of abuse from this person across hundreds of people, and no one said a fucking thing. And every single one of them admitted it's because they're terrified of the artist community coming down on them and blacklisting them. That happens every single time there's one of these call-outs against an artist. It's not ever, oh, this person scammed me last week. It's this person scammed hundreds of people over a decade. That's a massive problem.
That is a massive problem, yes. I would say, and I feel like this is a conversation.
Not every artist is. It's like not every artist is like that. Not every consumer is going to be pro AI.
I agree.
It's like there's a difference between, you know, trying to call to action people who are on Twitter, but then there's a vast majority of people who are not on Twitter. They're not, like, you know, looking at this with a microscope or really caring about it. The general everyday person will probably see, like, you know, a short film that has exclusively been made by AI. People will just say, oh, that's kind of ugly, click off of it and go to the next thing. It's unfortunately how the world works. You can't get everyone to be completely against something, because a large majority of people just don't care, unfortunately.
Here's what
that's with a lot.
Here's what I'll say too.
Okay.
And my apologies, Lumi.
You're good.
Here's what I'll say, and then I feel like the conversation around AI, I feel like we need to kind of move off of it, because it's something that can be argued for hours and hours, and I don't feel like the solution is that cutthroat. Here's what I will say. Do you remember what Asmongold said about AI art? And a lot of people got mad at him for it.
He says a lot, so you're going to have to remind me.
Okay. Basically what he said is the consumer does not care, and that is true. And this is something that I feel like a lot of people, and I'm not just saying artists forget this, but a lot of people tend to forget. The normal consumer does not live on the internet. The normal consumer does not watch the news. The normal consumer gets up, they drink their coffee, they go to work, they do their 9 to 5, they come home, they watch TV, they watch movies, they hang out with their family, and then they do the same thing again. They want today to be like yesterday, and they want tomorrow to be like today. They don't care about your politics. They don't care about your gripes. They just care about themselves. So if you want somebody to care about what you're about, you need to approach it from the, you need to make it actually matter to them. Art doesn't matter to them. That's the unfortunate truth of the world, is a majority of the people just don't care. They don't care. And I don't feel like trying to get them to care helps, because it's been proven time and time again, it doesn't help. In fact, it's been proven time and time again, trying to push them into the direction of, hey, please stand up for me, pushes them away from you. I've seen it time and time again, and it's going to happen until the end of time. So the only thing I can suggest when it comes to AI art is continue to push back in your own way. If you don't like it, that's fine. Don't associate with people if they use AI art and you don't like it. What I will say, though, please look into, at the very least, trying to evolve with it. Use, like Lumi mentioned, Nightshade. It sounds like it confuses AI art. Great, use it. I'm all for using ways to screw over the man, because man knows that I don't like the man. I'm sure everybody here hates going to their 9 to 5 and they don't like the man. So find ways to make it better for yourself. Don't just like sit here and beg people to help you. Find proactive ways to make it to where it's useful for you now. And I will also say that, like, yeah, companies are very shitty for firing artists from their jobs of many, many, many years. I don't think that's right. But artists aren't the only people that lose their jobs after these people have trained for them for many years. Artists aren't the only people. So it's one of those things where everybody suffers, everybody has to get up again, and everybody has to get working, and you have to make the most of it. I mean, Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the last thing that I'll add on to this, it's like not many people really cared when automation and AI were taking jobs from blue collar workers that worked in warehouses and stuff like that. It was as soon as it hit something that a lot of people see, or like, artists, music, voice manipulation and stuff like that. No one cared until it hit the entertainment. I have seen entire labor forces get fired from jobs that they had for decades.
That's shitty. I don't like that one bit.
When robotics were introduced.
No.
So like, it's always the blue collar workers that are forgotten about until stuff becomes a lot more expensive. Then it's like, oh, why is it expensive? Oh, well, you gotta hire new engineers that get paid like 6 figures to fix the robots that took the cheap labor.
Yeah, fun fact. And I'm learning this as a plumber. Plumbers can charge up to $50 or $60 an hour for their work because they're allowed to. It's just a little aside, but no, I think that there is a middle ground that people can come to, and I'm willing to agree and even entertain it. I just don't think that this is the right way. Calling people out, trying to tear people down is not the right way. I think the right way is finding solutions that elevate you and elevate other people at the same time.
The thing about Nightshade is that there's already so much artworks out there that they can just take art from like people who are deceased and people who just posted things and just no longer post on the internet. So almost like no matter what you do with Nightshade, it will protect you. It's just that there's like so much artwork out there. People who don't know about Nightshade, people, it's just there's so much artwork out there. So it's not going to also be a solution to our problems here.
Well,
At
Well,
that
yeah,
point, though, you're saying the art is soulless because any art will do for them, and there's nothing special about your art that the AI can't do.
And it's like, what you can do, like, yeah, you can't change anything from things that are already out there. But what you can do is promote Nightshade, tell people about Nightshade, especially artists that are like newer to the platform. You can try to prevent stuff from evolving instead of...
I'll do that. It's just that there will be people who just posted things before, are now deceased, and have things out there. People who just left the internet altogether, that's still always going to be out there until their account magically gets deleted.
oh, okay, then what's your solution? What's your solution then?
The only solution I have is that we all band together and just be against AI and pray to God that there will be some sort of lawsuit against it.
That won't happen. That won't happen.
I just hope that's the only solution I can really think of besides it.
Not until
In
America
a
beats
perfect
China in this AI war. It's not going to happen. Sorry.
Yeah,
So to say it in terms that Lumi was trying to get to earlier, the problem is AI did not come for the artist first. It came for the artist last. It is already used in every other facet of our lives, and thousands upon thousands of people are constantly outsourced and lose their jobs due to AI. The reason you can't win the AI fight is because you waited till it ended up at your doorstep after destroying everyone else's jobs to finally say, all right, enough is enough. And the thing is, everybody else just can't care anymore because they've already lost everything. They're
They've
not
already
going to
moved
help
on.
you because nobody helped them.
They've already found new jobs. They've already found new livelihoods. And that may sound like a shitty thing to say. Trust me. There's a lot of things that would have been fun for me to do, but AI is going to take over it. But the one thing that I am doing to keep myself from ending up jobless in the future, because the last thing I want is to have the situation like in Detroit Become Human, where the only people that have jobs are the people that actually can do stuff that robots can't do. Because in Detroit Become Human, the robots can do almost anything. But the one way I can tell people to future-proof themselves is not to quit what their passion is, but to find other ways to make money so that they're not jobless, so they're not out of work. So consider doing things that a robot can't do right now and probably won't do for quite a long time. Because trust me, they're not going to be walking anytime soon and delivering packages or fixing things anytime soon. So don't just sit and wait for someone to save you, because it's not going to happen. I guarantee to you it's not going to happen. Why? Because multiple other examples where AI has just replaced their jobs. So get up and find the solution like they have.
The only solution I could think of besides the lawsuit thing, which, in your opinion, it wouldn't happen, is that, like, you become a popular enough artist on the internet that companies would want to hire you for your fame, like, actors and stuff. That's the only thing I can really think of it.
Oh, they're coming
So,
for
like-
actors next. Have you seen how they do those videos?
There's no way
Actors-
that's gonna happen.
Actors are no, you say that, but actors are, I guarantee to you, actors are next. Because hell, you have people, last year they had people saying, oh, we're gonna fight against the AI, we're gonna make sure they don't put our stuff in. Actors will sell out. I guarantee to you, actors have big enough eyes for whatever money they want to give and say, hey, will you give us the rights to your voice? Hey, can we use your image? We'll pay you a little bit whenever we put out a movie. They will have a price tag and they will be sold on it. Do not believe that it won't happen.
Some actors will do that. I can see that happening, but, like, the smart ones would know, like, yeah, I'm not gonna sign that because
Smart ones will
I
get
still
left
need to
behind.
work.
Smart ones will get left behind. The smart ones will be told, sorry, we don't need you anymore. We don't need you anymore.
Actors are known for their image and what they have to.
Doesn't matter.
to
We can get new
offer.
ones. We can get new ones. That's the scary thing about AI, is they can make new ones and they don't even need the old ones to help them out anymore. So again, I don't want to go around in
There's the
circles.
loss of humanity and all of that. The consumer would eventually see that, no, I want a human back.
Probably.
I don't want to see just AI entertainers.
Probably.
I
I'm
don't
not.
think the average human cares.
I
honestly.
don't think the
I
average
think
human
we
cares
do
either.
care. I care very much.
Well,
But you're
As
an
you can
artist.
see,
you're not an average human.
I am
you're,
an artist.
You are above the average human. I think that's the thing. That's the thing that to take away is
Thank
you
you.
are not an average human that just goes to their 9 to 5 and does the work and then comes home. And none of the people in the chat are average people either, because they're watching this podcast. They're not average. They're above average. All right. What I'm telling you is, you're not average, so you need to elevate yourself. And the average person, they're going to stay and doing what they do and continuing to do what they do. They'll eat the AI slop because it won't matter to them. The AI will get good enough that they just won't care anymore. And maybe there will be a revolt, and maybe there will be a renaissance of actual human stuff. And I'm not saying that
I can
AI...
almost guarantee you that there will be a revolt. I can see it coming.
Good. When it
probably
comes...
won't happen
hope
for
it comes.
decades.
When it
It
comes...
won't happen for decades, but it'll eventually happen.
Probably.
Oh, it's coming sooner than a decade. And AI has advanced so much in like a year. Like the Will, what was it? What was his name? Like that actor, from French. I can't speak. From Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The spaghetti video.
Yeah.
It was only.
Will Smith.
Last year.
Will
now
Smith.
AI videos
Yeah.
are like absolutely
Yeah.
insane.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
going to happen like the next few years.
Maybe it will.
I mean, hell, guys are literally giving thousands of dollars to AI OnlyFans models because hot chick.
if
They're
people were...
gooners.
If people were afraid of VTubers taking over the porn industry, they should be more afraid of the robots that can do it 24/7. But anyway, I feel like this is a conversation that can go in a loop. And while I would
Yeah.
enjoy having it, I don't have all night to do that.
We
So-
got other call
Yeah,
out
it's
posts to
fine.
get to.
We do. We do.
Oh yeah.
So, Ms. Ray, is there anything else that you would like to say about Fillian just in general? Because we kind of deviated from Fillian, just focused on one thing. Is there anything else that you wanted to say on this before we let you go?
I'd like to say something else, not really directed towards Fillian, because I don't hate her. I also don't hate Doki.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some people think, like, oh, I hate Doki now. Durr. Like, no, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I just want them to apologize. I said this multiple times. But anyways, I wanted to say that I'm not against all AI. Like, I'm
Good.
specifically against AI art and, like, the AI images and the videos. Because AI is a tool. Like, people in Spider-Verse, they used it to train line art to match with their models to get that 2D, 3D animation kind of art style. So I'm not against all of AI, and some people can like think that like just because you're against AI images, you're all against all AI. Like no, there's like a lot of different tools that I'm perfectly fine with. That's all I have to really say about that.
Okay. Oh yeah, well that's good. Most people I just hear say, "Oh, all AI is bad," and I'm just like, you realize you're posting on an app that uses AI to curate and boost your posts, right? Okay,
It's literally an algorithm.
Yes, so I appreciate this. For the most part, we didn't expect that you were actually going to come up. Most people just like hide when we say, "Hey, we're going to talk about this. Would you like to add anything onto this?" So I appreciate you coming on. I feel like it was very informative.
No problem.
And yeah, you have a good one. All right.
Yeah, you have a good one too.
All right. Bye bye.
Hey, bye bye.
Nighty night.
Night night.
Okay, just left without saying goodbye.
I did say goodbye.
Rude.
I did say goodbye. I said thank you and goodbye. I said it first.
Then you immediately left. You didn't even say, "Okay, we're gonna go back to other chat." Now you just fucking left. God.
I'm sorry. I'm canceled next chat. All right. It goes from Fillian right down to me. We're stepping down to that level, chat. Who was that? That was I'm sure a lot of people would probably ask that. That was the person that called out Fillian for their AI stuff and some other things. Anyway, that was interesting.
I've already got my part 2 up on screen for my people.
Awesome. Do you want to stream it so I can pull it up for you?
Well, no, I don't have like anything pulled up. I just have the image on.
Fair enough.
Chat knows what we're talking about.
What are we talking about next?
I was hoping we could talk about MeatCanyon.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about MeatCanyon. Here, let me just pull up the thumbnail for their video so chat can
It's
see
like
it.
I listened to the video while I was at work.
Was it
And he
Papa
really
Meat?
just lumped together everyone who enjoys anime, huh?
He did, and he also, it's weird, right? Because he would seem like somebody that would watch anime, but he just got so much wrong. Like, very basic stuff. And then there's, Oka and I talked about this, there's a lot of stuff it feels like he made up.
I mean,
So for those of you who don't know, it says Papa Meat on the thumbnail, but his main channel is MeatCanyon, and he basically does really good animations that are intentionally made to like kind of satirize large YouTubers and Twitch streamers, or to make you uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable.
He does gross out animation.
And I will say that I do like some of his stuff because it does, for the most part, some of the stuff he tells is very accurate. I thought the YouTube video was pretty funny. The Mr. Beast one was pretty funny. Some of it I do feel like he's trying to tell a deeper message on. But this was a pile of shit, and I think he knows it.
I am so fucking upset because I have been a supporter of Papa Meat for a long time.
You have. I'm sure you were really upset when you saw this. Like,
I was.
Oh
I was
my
like,
goodness.
Papa Meat, please. I like you. Why do you gotta do this to me?
Yeah, and he was like, even before this, he was in some drama when he had to let go of an editor, and the editor was like being a piece of shit, trying to call him out. And I was like, this editor sucks. And I was standing up for him because I was like, he doesn't deserve this. They left on good terms. And then he comes out with this. Like, I think the thing that's like so bizarre to me is a lot of people supported him. A lot of people that probably don't support him anymore because of this. And I think what's interesting is I 100% believe, and I think you guys will agree, the only reason why he made this video is he wants to capitalize off of the Vouch drama. And
he said it right at the start.
Yeah, so he wants to capitalize off of it.
He opens the video by saying he's talking about this because of Vouch, but he does the YouTuber thing where he's like, but this is something I've actually wanted to talk about for a while.
Bullshit.
It's like, okay, everybody knows that's a lie when you say it. What you actually mean is, it is expedient for me to talk about this right now, so now I'm going to talk about it. You haven't actually been looking for a reason to talk about it.
Yeah, no,
The second thing he opens the video with is, and I can't necessarily hold this against his opinion in itself, but it feels like another like thing to add to the pile of I don't know what I'm talking about, where he jokes that he is going to have on Akira Toriyama, the guy who made Dragon Ball, on with him to discuss why Lolly is bad. For those of you who don't know, Akira Toriyama has literally included Lolicon in Dragon Ball. So it's one of those things like, because obviously he doesn't include Akira Toriyama, he ends up bringing on a fake Colonel Sanders parody, but it's another one of those things that's like, if you knew who Akira Toriyama was or what his work included, I feel like you wouldn't be pretending like he was your favorite manga artist.
Plus, I don't think he would ever agree to come on if this is what you were going to bring him on for.
Yeah. So he starts going into, I think the best way to describe it is how somebody in the comments described it, in that it wasn't actually a discussion about Lolicon or anything about it. It was I don't like Lolicons. Here are random things I made up and claim that they say in order to cope, to feel like they're not pedophiles. Because he'll try and say he didn't say that, but he says at multiple points in the video, if you like Lolicon, you might as well be a pedophile.
Pretty much.
And then he'll try and pull later on, like, I'm not saying you're breaking the law or anything. It's like, look, everybody knows what you mean when you call somebody a pedophile.
I think the thing that was like really sad and unfortunate to me is I saw somebody, I think it was on Twitter, say, this is really sad, as somebody who's like naturally a petite sized woman, he's basically saying that like I can't ever find love, or that I am myself a pedophile because I am a petite woman that like is just small IRL. And I think that like I've had a long history of up and down with Lolicon, but from what I've come to understand, the people that typically are against it have really no idea what they're talking about, because they really don't understand that Lolly, yes, it does mean small and petite, but it does not always mean like actual child features. It just means it's small and petite. I think Rev often will say it just means small and petite. So he tries to throw out these arguments. And I know why he does. It's because the greater internet will probably agree with him. Oh, don't you guys hate sexualizing kids? Well, duh. I think everybody here can agree with that. But it's so disingenuous how he brings it up, and it pisses me off.
So I wish I had made like a little bullet point thing, but honestly, chat, I can't watch the video twice. It's genuinely that bad.
Yeah, you got really pissed off.
A couple like random points that you picked up from the video is, like I said, one of the biggest issues is he clearly doesn't know anything about anime.
No.
So a ton of people called about on this in the comments, but he calls The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya a shoujo manga in anime. For those of you who don't know, shoujo is anime and manga targeted towards young girls, typically like teenager-ish range in Japan. Melancholy Haruhi Suzumiya is a harem anime, first and foremost. It's got like some mystery to it, but it feels like he sort of knew what shoujo was, but he assumed that because The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya has basically a female lead, and it takes place in a school, which are admittedly descriptions of most shoujo manga, that he just assumed it was one. And because when you search up like anime, Haruhi Suzumiya is actually one of the first ones that pops up, because it is just such a big one, he just assumed it fit the bill. He clearly didn't know what he was talking about. He also later goes on to describe seinen manga, which is for young women, as shoujo, for being for young girls. I think the mistake he made was he thinks that shoujo is for like elementary school girls and seinen is for like teenagers, which, as far as I'm aware, Japan doesn't have like a specific word for children's manga. It's just literally called children's manga. Because there really isn't that much of it, and it's not exactly a massive industry.
Yeah.
Just like if you go to the store and you go to the children's book section, there's honestly like 20 books there, and it's all Dr. Seuss.
Well, yeah.
It's just not like a huge industry.
I mean, that's mostly just because I think most people in Japan recognize that the animes that kids are okay watching are like Dragon Ball and maybe One Piece, and maybe some of the old Yu-Gi-Oh. But beyond that, most anime, I think they want to gear towards young adults and adults up. I don't feel like a lot of them really feel like there's a lot of stuff to put into it.
Parents can either justify buying them merch for it, or where the people themselves can buy merch.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing with a baby or like elementary age kids, it's really hard to like make merchandise for them. Typically all you really have are like stuffed animals, and like the turnover on stuffed animals is very small. A lot of it really comes in for like mechanical toys, and you don't want to give small kids mechanical toys for obvious reasons. The word for sinning is more describing mature story. Exactly. And he tries to say, he basically describes it as shoujo. It's one of those things where it's not like core to his argument, but it does add to this. He doesn't seem to know what he's talking about, and he's just throwing stuff at the wall. Which is where we get into him bringing up the term cheesecake.
Oh boy.
So if you look in the comments of this video, nobody knew what the fuck cheesecake meant. He tried to say that cheesecake was a way lolicons would refer to clothed lollies as a way to reference cheese pizza, which is a way people on the internet will censor the word child P word. Which, first off, I've never heard a single lolicon say the word cheesecake. In fact, I've never heard a person say the word cheesecake unless they were referring to a cheesecake or the Cheesecake Factory, like, restaurant. So I ended up just looking up what cheesecake was, because I had no idea what the fuck he was talking about. It turns out, and I don't know how he quote-unquote researched himself into discovering this niche lolly term, cheesecake is a term from the 1950s. It's what they used to refer to pinup photos as. They were cheesecake shots. I don't know where the fuck he, like, found this term and decided it meant something about lollies. I genuinely couldn't find any reference to it describing that at all. Everything was niche 1950s era term referring to pinup shots. And the only thing I found that even elaborated on that was people called guys beefcakes, so they called women cheesecakes. And they didn't even make the connection between that. They just said it, and I believe that because people in the 50s were weird. But it was one of those, like, he said it, and he specifically says it after saying, we did tons of research to find this stuff out. And I was like, he specifically said he found the term in a, like, lolicon chat room. I don't know where he found this. I've never heard this before. Nobody in the comments has heard this before. None of my friends have heard this before. I don't know what he's talking about.
Chat, or anybody in the chat, like, over the age of 50 and know what cheesecake means? Because I don't know. And I feel like I consider myself old. I mean, now I know because you explained it. But when he brought it up, I was like... Because here's, I'll be transparent. I've been in some weird places on the internet. None of them that are legally dubious, but I've been on some weird places in the internet. I've never, ever, ever heard that word expressed in a sexual term.
It was one of those things, I just genuinely didn't know where he heard it or what it even meant.
Yeah.
So, I mean, good job on that one. You taught me something new with your video, I guess. I mean, it's not what you told me it meant, but you technically did teach me something new.
Yeah.
Congrats.
It's new, all right.
I mean, is cheesecake a lolicon term? No, it's a term from the 50s. And it doesn't make any sense where he even picked it up from. Because that's the other thing. He doesn't mention any sources. He says that he went to chat rooms and he found information from there and he did all this research, but he doesn't lay any of it out. Not any of where it came from, of where he heard it.
At Starson in the comments, he's really good at talking about this stuff. He says that he's only heard it in references to beefcake. And if Chad doesn't know, beefcake is like hunky
Big
man.
Buff dude.
Yeah, so like...
We refer to those as himbos now, chat.
Yes, pretty much. So, I don't know
Even
where
that
the
term has
fuck...
fallen out of use.
Yeah, I don't know where the fuck he got this term. Maybe he has a grandma that he's talking to about this shit, which, man, that's a weird conversation to have. But wow, I don't know where the heck he's gotten it from.
Sounds like they saw maybe one person use it in those chat rooms and assumed it was a part of the common vernacular. That's a
Maybe.
possibility.
Maybe.
But it would have to be an old dude saying
yeah.
cheesecake in an anime form. And I doubt he would be using it to refer to like a lolly necessarily. It would be because it was a term he just knew from like his parents or grandparents.
What it honestly, like when I heard it for the first time, what it sounded like, unironically, it sounded like something that an autistic person made up, thinking that it actually matched what the rest of the world thought. And when the autistic, and I'm not speaking from experience, I promise, when the autistic person learns that he or she can't just like put terms in there, that they actually have to make sense, he tries to forget it every single day that he lives. I'm totally not speaking from experience.
My chat says there are some artists on DeviantArt that do use the term.
Was he from
Okay,
DeviantArt?
DeviantArt-
Pick it up from there.
DeviantArt is freak central with inflation art, so I don't care what DeviantArt artists have to say.
Yeah, if I was researching lolly, considering it is a very heavily Japanese space, I would not go to DeviantArt. I would go to Pixiv.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Pixiv is like lolly
like
central.
Japanese artists tend to use Pixiv. I would have started my research there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And at least like use the built-in translator or something. I don't know. He brings up the actually she's a 5,000-year-old dragon excuse, and specifically brings up Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. First off, he mistakes Iruru for the main character. I guess she is like a prominent side character in season 2.
Season 2. Yeah, she's not even in season fucking 1.
First off, she's not even in the first season. She's definitely not the main character. Toru is. He also seems to use the fact that the artist has never given Alulu a specific age as a reason why people can't use the 5,000-year-old dragon excuse. Which, first off, nobody uses the 5,000-year-old dragon excuse, quote unquote. That's something people constantly make up lolicons saying. It's not something lolicons say. The actual quote unquote excuse is this character is 5,000 years old. Age in fiction is worthless and has no meaning because you can slap any number on them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I've joked about this before with like a picture of one of my characters where I just put the character with a 17 beside them and everybody with pitchforks, and the same character with a 21 beside them and everybody being happy. It's a fictional number. It doesn't matter.
Plus, I would also say, doesn't Lulu have like a giant chest, like bigger than
She has
me?
a giant rack.
Yeah, so
it is heavily
Her rack is fucking
debated
huge.
among lolicons if she is allowed to be considered one, because she would be what's called an opai lolly, which most people don't consider a real thing. They consider it more of like a joke term.
Here you go, Akko. You can see her massive rack.
yeah, let me take a look here.
And it's funny because he focuses so hard on Alulu and I think what he's
she's
trying to say
She's a goblin.
is-
She's a goblin in my opinion.
she is. I feel like what he's trying to say with her is that because Alulu isn't heavily like sexual in the show. Like she doesn't do much that would be considered like overtly sexual.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what he's trying to say is this is what they quote unquote consider lollies. First off, it doesn't even look like a kid. And second off, like the show doesn't even sexualize her, so it's proof that even Japan is uncomfortable with this. That's what it feels like he's trying to say, which is why he kind of glosses over the fact that Kana is literally in the manga. She says that she wanted to fuck her friend, outright.
Yeah, why didn't he use Kana? Because Kana is like the tiny dragon girl that I can understand some people feeling weird over. But he doesn't use that example. That's an example that I oddly feel like people gloss over more. Did you just feel too uncomfortable using the little dragon?
Well, that's what I'm saying. What he's trying to do is he's trying to bring up Alulu as these are what lolicons use to cope, but this is not what actually exists in Japanese media. Which is funny because he should have chosen another anime because Kana literally does exist in Japanese media. She's in the same show.
Yeah.
There's also Lukoa, who is constantly assaulting a little boy who is literally called Shota. I mean, it's spelled like Shotu, which is an actual Japanese name, but the writers knew what they were doing. They were calling him Shota.
They did.
They thought it was funny that it sounded the same.
I did. Starson says, my partner is a Lulu shaped basically as a woman. Well, don't tell Papa Meat that because he might get mad at you. Although I don't think you care. But I feel like it's just really irresponsible, what he's saying, because a lot of women, and I'm not saying it's like a gigantic percent, but there are short women out there. They exist. Are they not allowed to exist? Papa Meat? Are we not allowed to have short women that exist, that can live full lives? I understand that you might not see them every day. You might not see a lot of things every single day, but they exist.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 5 feet tall. Am I?
You are
I'm
anything
height-coded.
anything under 5 feet is considered a lolly to these people.
No, to these people, anything under, I think they said 5'4".
Ah, sorry, Lumi. You are a lol. You should be the lolly for the rest of the stream because that's what
Okay,
that's what you are.
Let me switch. Okay, let me switch models.
You are.
Okay,
yes.
while we're doing this, part of his thing gets into what I call the typical anti-imperialism argument, which is that Japan is a nation of pedophiles and we need to colonize them and fix their backwards views.
It's very racist.
And his example for this is apparently there is a phenomenon in Japan where some women will have their teeth kind of messed up because it makes them look a bit younger, which
I've never heard of this before.
I am not 100% convinced that's true. Like, for that being the reason why they do it. God damn it, now I've got to fix Lumi.
Fix me.
There we go.
Correction needed.
Stop it.
We've got the child
Correction
here now.
needed.
Lumi is
Correct me.
literally a
But,
child
area.
considered to these people, so.
But that is
Put on the
one
mic.
thing where it's like, this comes up a lot with aunties, is they try and say, well, you can't use it's normal in Japan because Japan's a country full of disgusting pedophiles. And they'll just start making stuff up. And he brings up this teeth thing, which I'll admit I've seen, like Japanese
Oh.
women have like these kind of crooked teeth, and I always thought it was weird and it looked odd. And he claims it's to make them look younger, which that might be true. But just to point out, first off, women in the US get plastic surgery to try and make them look younger all the time. So I don't know
Pretty
why
much.
you think that's like a massive own. It's actually pretty common. That's like it's literally the #1 reason women get plastic surgery is to
Pretty
look
much.
younger. But the other thing is he doesn't like provide a source. He just
No.
says this is something Japanese women do to try and look like children. And I don't know where that comes from.
A lot of trust me, bro. It's a
Yeah,
lot
and
of
it's one
trust
of
me,
those
bro.
things like, okay, let's assume it's true. So they're all still having sex with adult women. Like, I mean, that's what you're saying. These women are still adults. You can argue that they quote unquote look like kids, but that is their choice and their agency,
Mhm.
and it's still an adult having sex with another adult. I really don't care, like, if she pretends to be like a baby in a crib and they still have sex. Let them be as kinky and fucking weird as they want.
That is
I don't
pretty weird.
care.
I will say, no judging people, but that is pretty weird, and I would never do that.
Wallander, we'll probably get to it. I think I know what you're talking about, because that is
I
kind
need
of
to
towards
pull
the end
up
of
a
my
shot.
rant on him.
There it is.
Where's my thing? I had it up. Because I did actually leave him a comment on it, so I have some of my points on there.
Oh, good.
There was a big thing he tried to do with Lolicons try to cope by saying fiction doesn't affect reality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, but it literally doesn't. And he's
No.
like, well, I don't care what you think it affects or not. I think it does affect it. So it means it does. It's like, okay, well, what you think doesn't matter. We have like statistics on this. Your fiction does not affect your reality.
Wow.
Chat.
We've proven that like 100,000 times.
Chat, according to Papa Meat, you cannot go play Helldivers 2 right now. Because if you go play Helldivers 2 right now, you will actually go out and become a Nazi. According
Oh.
to Papa Meat, alright? Just telling
I'm a
you.
patriotic
Just
American,
telling
so I'm
you,
fine.
you cannot go play Helldivers because it makes you into angry people that want to fight for your super Earth. All right. I don't actually believe that turns you into a Nazi. That's just a joke. But that is the reach that he is going for right here. That is the reach that we've seen old mothers say, oh, I don't want my kid playing Call of Duty or fucking what's the one that everybody talks about? Grand Theft Auto. I don't want my kids playing Grand Theft Auto. It makes them violent, and sure, it probably can make kids a little bit violent, but it doesn't turn everybody that plays into it into somebody that wants to go around raging with a firearm. That's not how this works, and the same is applied to this. It's just sorry.
Yeah, it's a common argument that people bring up a lot, and then when you bring up that if we talked about literally any other media, we know for a fact it's untrue, they'll turn around and be like, well, I still think it affects you, and besides, this is different because this is about sex.
No, it's not.
Okay, why
No,
is
it's
this
not.
different?
What's the difference between me picking up a firearm in a video game versus whatever, insert
Me
whatever.
having sex in a video game.
Exactly. There's no difference. There's no difference. One might be more enjoyable than the other, unless you're a gun nerd. But still, I don't
Well,
feel
people
like
try and say it's like the serotonin that releases when you are aroused.
God.
I think a lot of people are scared to admit when they make that argument that that exact same thing happens when you shoot somebody in Call of Duty because people are pent up and need a release.
or open
That's
up
just
a
whack.
loot box in a gacha game.
Yeah,
Yeah, like people get their release all kinds of ways. What we have decided as a society is as long as you're doing it the legal way, nobody cares.
Starson,
And that's something a lot of these guys can't get used to is that we've decided as long as nobody got hurt, it's fine.
Yeah.
Starson says research shows that video games show the same increased aggression response you see in all games, including football. And it does cut off, unfortunately, but that is good to point out. Video games, real sports, a lot of the same things release the same amount of stuff, and I would wager to bet this sex is somewhere along that line.
Yeah, you know, it definitely is. We know it is. And we've not seen. This is something that comes specifically from like boomer conservatives. Is this idea that if you're exposed to it more over time, you become desensitized to it? But there has never been any study showing that. There's been studies showing that people who already were desensitized to sex would constantly search for something more aggressive, but that's on them as a person. It's the same way like you have the mass shooters that like they couldn't get their rocks off from a video game.
I don't think that's how it works. No.
Those people were predisposed to that to start with.
Yeah, I think the thing that when it comes to stuff like that, I think the thing that a lot of people are refusing to look at, especially when they talk about, oh, your gun rights need to be taken away because these people obviously wouldn't go out and do it. No, they would go out and do it regardless of whether or not they had a tool of mass destruction. The difference is their mental health that you are refusing to take into account. And probably all the times that the FBI was notified of some of these people and they're just like, we don't care.
I mean, literally, the FBI came out and said, hey, stop reporting lolly shit to us because it's taking away resources from helping real kids. And also, fucking when Brittany Venti was going on her retard rant and everything, I put a little comment under it saying, hey, start advocating for real kids and pixels.
Well, I want to touch on child sexual abuse material here in a moment when we get to it, but that it is very important to bring up. The FBI looks at your lolicon and says, that's not a real kid. Get it the fuck away, because I'm here to save a real kid, even though sometimes I don't feel like they always do that, but that's besides the point. They don't care about it. They've said it multiple times. It takes away resources whenever you report the wrong shit, so stop doing it. Is Venti still ringing? She probably is. Who knows?
I mean,
and
she's posting selfies now. She got her clout.
She's done grifting on that end.
Well, she has to remind people that her mom's black or whatever.
Oh my god.
The last piece I would like to touch on before we get to the drawn CSAM is, and he brings this up more close to the start, but it's something I kind of brought up sort of at the end, is he says if you so much as say you don't like Lolly, these people will show up in droves to try and change your mind or whatever. And he shows first off a completely fake tweet that says, I just don't like it. And that's all the tweet says. But the tweet's completely made up. He made it for the stream. And I assume he did that because he didn't want to show a real tweet where the person says, I think you're all disgusting pedophiles who should be shot. Because then it's a lot harder to say, oh, why did all these people show up and call them wrong? They were just giving their opinion. This is something a lot of antis try and do to defend themselves. Is they're like, well, I was just giving my opinion. Yeah, well, your opinion was people should be shot.
Yeah.
And any other time, people wouldn't accept that.
Like, here's the thing, and I've kind of stepped back from this opinion because I realize that there probably are more pragmatic ways to fix things. But when you call somebody a predator, like unironically, when you believe that in your heart and soul, you are pointing a loaded gun at somebody and saying, I don't think you deserve to live. Because a lot of people's predispositions are predators need to be dead. A lot of people are going to believe that. I'm still on the fence on like real predators, like actual real predators. I'm learning more about that myself. But when you give that accusation to somebody, I think you, like literally every single person that gives this, I think they need to be asked, would you shoot them if they were in front of you? Would you be okay with shooting them? And would you be okay if you found out that you were wrong? I am very much happy asking people those questions because I don't think a lot of them think you are asking a question that could end their life or saying something that could end their life. And it has ended people's lives. I'm pretty sure you could find examples of it ending people's lives where people call them or slander or libel them the wrong things and it ends their life. I'm sure you could find it.
Basically. And that's just my only issue is they'll say this stuff and be like, well, I just said I didn't like it. It's like, that's not really what you said. And it's a lot harder to defend what you're saying when you actually point out what you actually said.
Yeah.
Because then people are a lot less sympathetic to the whole, well, I was just giving my opinion thing when you're accusing people of crimes, where you're saying people should be shot, where you're doing all this other stuff. Like, it's a lot less nuanced than you make it. Also, a lot of times, they're targeting specific people. Like, you'd be like, I think this person sucks because of this. It's like, okay, you technically gave your opinion, but you gave your opinion on another human being, so you kind of lose the right to just be like, it's just my opinion.
Yeah,
also keep putting it on the internet. You kind of lose the right to say it's just my opinion when you're putting it in the public square. Now it's in the public square and everybody's allowed to have an opinion about your opinion. Especially
when we live in a world, we just talked about it when we had the last person on with us, especially in a world where people don't do their own looks into it, where people don't look for evidence, don't fact check you, don't do anything of the sort. If you're a famous person and just says, I don't like this person because of X, Y, or Z, I don't think it matters. If you've got people that will actually think they're just gonna roll with it. They're just gonna roll with it and go with the punches. So you have to be careful. And I'm not saying that you have to take responsibility for your entire fan base, but you do have to be careful how you outline things. Like, don't go saying this person committed, because again, when you're calling somebody a predator, you're basically saying they deserve to be put in jail or dead. Basically, they've committed a crime, and I think that they should be put under for that. And a lot of people take crime fighting very seriously on the internet. Some of them more than others. And there's a lot of irresponsibility. That's all I'm trying to say.
Also, before we get into the last part, because chat reminded me, and this is something I didn't talk about because I don't really care about the show that much, but I do have to admit it is an influential show, so it kind of sucks that he's weird about it. But he kept bringing up Sailor Moon as an example, because there was one famous 4chan tweet where a guy cataloged every single panty shot that happened over the entirety of Sailor Moon. Which, by the way, he even shows that 4chan thought this dude was a weirdo. And he tried to use that as an example of, like, how all lolicons are. It's like, first off, lolicons aren't into Sailor Moon.
No,
first off,
she's not a lolly.
Female-focused anime and manga. And every single girl looks like just a regular adult. They just have teenagers slapped on their age in the background. They literally don't look any different from any of the adult characters in the show, other than maybe being a couple feet short, maybe being like half a foot shorter. They literally look the exact same. They all have large chests. They all, when they're not wearing their school uniform, they're just wearing regular, everyday Japanese clothes. And he harped on it really hard for some reason. And it makes me think he doesn't really understand what lolly is outside of just age.
No.
Even though later on he tries to make it more about body parts. But it's like, whatever, I guess. And I only bring it up because chat mentioned it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really like Sailor Moon. I never really did.
It
but...
really shows how much of an idiot he is when it comes to the subject. And this is something that I felt like was funny to bring up. Didn't he like or watch a lolly VTuber? Or does he? Because I know
he
that
collabed
people...
with a lolly VTuber.
Yeah, okay. That is like
See, I don't know who it is, so I never brought that up.
Lumi, you might know more, don't you?
Let me say hun.
Like, he did. Like, I'm pretty sure that like, if that's true, he's the biggest damn. I hope that lolly VTuber blocked him, or doesn't interact with him anymore, because he's basically pointing the gun at her. I mean, if somebody accused me of murder and it was wrong, yeah, I would probably not want to interact with them anymore. Would you, chat?
It was Little Nini.
Little Nini, okay. And she collabed with him. Did they do a video?
And he still follows her.
And he still follows her! Oh my gosh!
He still follows her, and she advertises to Lolicon.
Holy crap, chat. I think that MeatCanyon, or Papa Meat, had some things to admit here, because if he's still following a lolly after he made this... Chat, using his evidence, I think that he's also a predator. Now...
And here, I'll put it...
That's obviously being ironic and jokish. Vouch, exactly! Chat, he's Vouch 2.0! The only thing he's missing is the horses. He's only missing the horses. Now, the last thing that we want to talk about that's honestly kind of more serious, like, I'm gonna put a more serious face on this because, the hypocrisy in what he's talking about is so bad that some of his own material, which is honestly worse than Lolicon.
Here, I can cover this because
yes,
I know basically everything about this one, because this is, I've always had the opinion that I feel a little bit weird whenever artists and animators use real people in their art and animations.
I agree.
I understand once you are a public figure, there is a certain level of, we get to make fun of you now, and I accept that. I still feel a little weird about it, but I always draw the line at kids. You can, even if a kid is quote-unquote technically a public figure, I think they're just off limits because their parents are putting them in that situation. They don't have a choice to be in that situation, and whatever you and the internet say about them is going to follow them around for the rest of their life, and they had no real say in that.
Just a side note, I don't think kids should be on the internet or in media, period. There is just too much frivolity. Is that the right word? There's just too much, like, danger that you can put children in when it comes to putting them on the internet. I don't think children should be in any type of media, period. I don't think, like, if you take a picture of your kid and post it on your Facebook to your friends, that's fine. It should not leave the ethos of your Facebook. You should not be posting images, videos, or whatever. It should not be on the internet, because real predators, it opens up the door.
Let's not get into that. We're going way too off topic with that.
Fair enough.
Let's try and focus on the content.
What I'm just trying to say is, like, they should just not be on the internet.
The problem is, and I originally made the comment on his video that he was kind of a hypocrite because he has made videos of, like, Mr. Incredible being, like, oddly sexual with his kids. You know, animated stuff. Then somebody brought to my attention a video of his I hadn't seen before. He made a video where Tom Brady gets sexual with his own son. It was supposedly satirizing Tom Brady kissing his son on the mouth after winning a Super Bowl, which he quote-unquote satirized into taking it way too far, and Tom Brady and his son just getting hot and heavy right in the middle of the Super Bowl field, and everybody, like, clapping and licking their lips and watching like a bunch of creeps. For those of you who don't know, there actually is exactly one type of artwork in the US that is criminalized, and it is sexual artwork of a real-life named child that you can point to as being a victim. So I've only ever thought of one artist that's broken this law. I mean, he still didn't get arrested for it, but he 1000% broke it with Shadman. Papa Meat is the only other person I know, other than Shadman, that has done this. And that is fucking wild to me.
Yeah.
The only difference between the two that the reason why Papa Meat didn't get canceled is because he is a well-liked animator. Shadman, people already didn't like.
No.
And Shadman didn't even get arrested for any of his art. It was just armed robbery and having nose candy.
And he pretty much ran away from the internet.
That's besides the point.
That's the thing we talked about, was this is something that, like, even though Shadman didn't get arrested for it, it is something I would 100% say probably broke the only law we have in the US against drawn artwork. And I would say Papa Meat probably also broke it.
And I would say that the only reason neither of them are in trouble is because the victims, because there are victims, like Shadman has victims that just aren't going to do anything about it because it doesn't matter now to them. And Tom Brady probably doesn't even know Papa Meat. But I guarantee to you, if Tom Brady felt like his son's life was violated, Papa Meat would probably be arrested. I feel like I can say that.
Yeah.
Because, again, that is the only because, like, they're very specific. I looked it up. I read the terms and definitions for CSAM, child sexual abuse material. The biggest carve-out is real, identifiable children. And both of them have done that.
I can only assume Papa Meat makes the same mistake that most aunties make. When it says real identifiable child, they think looks very obviously like realistic, which is not what that means. It means a real life named child that you can point to as being a victim of it. So I would say he's probably broken that law, and it's insane that he's making this video when he is one of the only two artists I can point to in like any sort of public facing place that have broken the one law we have against art in the US. Is literally the only rule we have for art in the United States, and they broke it. That's just wild to me.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, someone who actually exists, exactly.
Yep.
And it kind of made me feel like after I found out this video exists and some other people brought some stuff up to me, this might be covering for something, because it is very popular for people to become antis of lolicon in order to cover up being actual pedophiles. Because they get to use the excuse of, well, no, I'm against sexualizing kids, so I'm a good person.
And we're not insinuating.
But they can't bring up, like, actual pedophiles because they can't bring themselves to hate themselves.
Yep.
So they try and target something that they're not actually interested in, and then try and paint it as the worst thing.
And we're obviously not insinuating that is why this video was made. But it is very sketchy. It's one of those things where really there's only two reasons why people make this, and I really don't know what I would believe. The first is clout, and he has a good enough reason for clout. The other reason is, like Mizu said, he's covering for something. What would that be? God only knows right now.
Yeah, Instagram nuked his account.
Shadman's?
For posting the video. No. MeatCanyon's.
Oh, well, Instagram was right. They get a W this time. Instagram needs to clean up their platform because they have a lot of other skeletons that they need to clean up, but besides the point.
I heard he was very mad when they nuked his account, and he just refused to see, like, why they were right.
I see why they're right.
I want to see, like, his full excuse, but all I know for a fact is that he tried to double down. He's like, I don't understand why they removed it. It was satire. It was a joke. It was perfectly fine. It's not cool.
No. See, and
First off, don't ever include real kids in your stuff, just in general. I think that's weird, and that makes me uncomfortable. But never do what he or Shadman did.
No,
both of those are beyond the pale.
Absolutely, I agree. Yeah, it's just one of those things where, and every single time I've met a lolicon or lolly show person that enjoys it, the same thing that you have basically said. None of them want to include real kids, because for the most part, they're not even thinking about the element of the sex with the lolicon person. They're thinking about it for other reasons, and I've never ever seen them like say that they want to attribute it to a real person, because they know, they understand.
Yeah. Just a whole fucking shit, man.
It is, yes. So Papa Meat, you might want to remove that video, because if Tom Brady thinks that you have broken the law, you're kind of fucked.
Oh, he did delete the video from his main page, but you know, there's reaction videos to it that people did, re-uploads that people put up.
So he deleted it?
Yeah, he deleted it a while ago.
Well, then you better hope that Tom Brady doesn't decide that you're fucked, because that man's pretty rich.
I mean, what? The age of Tom Brady's son when he posted it was 12.
Yeah, 12, chat.
Yeah.
Also, I finally saw the VTuber that he collabed with. There's no way he doesn't know this is like a lolicon account.
She's a pro lolicon, and she does IRL not safe for work stuff on Patreon.
I gotta use the restroom. I'll be right back.
Her name is literally Little Knee, and then the tag is Emoto on her name, 2D.5 Emoto. Like, unless he just doesn't know anything about Japan and anime, there's no way he didn't look at that and it's like, oh, this is clearly a lolicon. There's just no way. I refuse to believe it. He's such an idiot. I genuinely hated this video, chat. It is genuinely ruined a creator I actually enjoyed watching for me, and I would likely never watch him again.
Yeah.
Because Oko had her person of the week. I've had my person of the week. I don't have anything else to say. Would Lumi like to move on to her person of the week?
My person of the week needs a little more fine-tuning, but I can at least make it public on what the heck I'm working on.
Sure.
Because I got a lot more context to what the fuck else this dude did. Like, a fucking lot. So, someone that I called out last year who went by Ray the Dragon, who stole someone else's character, stole art, and ran a scam VTuber agency that my friend Nacho was pulled into. He was known for harassing women and a bunch of other shit. And I have recently found out that he is actually a minor. He's been lying about his age the entire time. He is actually 17. Just turned 17 in November, and he follows a lot of not safe for work VTubers.
Who are we talking about?
The dude that I called out last August. That Ray dude.
Oh, yeah.
He is a minor. He's the one that said that he swears he had a romantic relationship with Henya. His uncle is the CEO of Niji Sanji, I swear. For real.
At this point, I kind of believe that.
But he's been in not safe for work VTuber spaces for a couple years.
Oh and shit, we have to talk about the Niji Sanji thing, I forgot.
And these not safe for work VTubers who have their Discords, and some of them have not safe for work channels. Not all of them ID verify, so he had open access to these not safe for work channels.
I will be honest, knowing they're a minor makes me want to talk about them less.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I'm not gonna prevent you. I'm just saying it kills my enthusiasm for dunking on them.
I know,
you know what I mean?
I know, but it's like he's apparently lied about having cancer and shit. He made fake Discord accounts pretending to be his sister.
Yeah. I think at
Keep
this
us
point
right.
he's kind of old enough that he can take his lumps.
Mm-hmm.
17 is an
17
adult
now.
in some countries.
Yep.
It just makes me feel weird about it now.
Yeah, but it's like it's good for people to at least to know that
Know
there is
about
a
it, yeah.
minor in their not safe for work places. I will.
But you're still, you said you're fine tuning all the information
Yes, because I was provided a lot of screenshots.
today.
Few days ago, I've been in contact with a few people.
Fair enough.
So, like, I have warned a few mutuals that he was following, and they were following him back because, you know, some VTubers just follow back supporters or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
did let them know, and they did block and ban him from their shit. So, yeah.
But you, because of that, have reminded me we have to talk about the Niji guy that is a massive racist.
The racist
Oh, yeah,
Ninji
the
Sanji
racist
guy.
dude.
I have to ask.
So do
Really?
either of you know him very well? Because all I know he's from Niji.
No.
They don't know shit.
I was gonna ask if either of you, because like he has a model with light skin, and I was gonna ask
He's
if he was
Asian.
okay. So
He's
he's
Asian.
Asian.
I'm
Okay,
not gonna specify
I
which kind of Asian because I don't know. I think I heard he was Korean, but I'm not gonna like pretend to know because I don't like him.
I'm gonna hold my tongue on that one.
But he just at first it was like he would just constantly make jokes or comments about white people, but like no other races, and it was like that's kind of weird, right? Like if you're a white person, like I have no problem with like racist jokes. But if you're a white person and you only ever make jokes about black people and nothing else, I'm gonna side-eye you.
Yeah, everybody needs
like,
to be
you got-
fair.
Why don't you have like other material? Why don't you talk about like other races? Why isn't this like an equal opportunity thing?
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually it just kind of came out where he's like, yeah, I fucking hate white people. I think they're lesser. I think they're dogs. And like just went down this whole thing. And it's like, what?
Yeah,
Where did it come from?
Kirsha put a very nice, over 5
Compilation.
minute long compilation of him being racist to white
oh,
people.
that's really nice
It's-
of her.
The fact that it was even over 2 minutes is shocking.
Wow.
Almost 6
See,
minutes.
Chat here's
I think the funny part is this actually got him some backlash for making that, and somebody went and asked him why, like, he was being racist to white people, and he responded to that person was something like, "Oh, it's because I hate them," and people were like, "Well, it sounds like a joke, but even if it was a joke, why would you say that in response to this controversy? Because it's not helping you."
See, this is like something that bothers me because, like, you know that if a white person said that about any race, it doesn't matter if it's a joke or not, they would be off the internet in seconds. Like literally, I have seen, and I'm not going to. Look, I will preamble this by saying I do not excuse racist jokes, or just racism in general. I feel like it's kind of old to be racist. You know, I feel like we all can agree that we don't like racism. But if he was white or confirmed to be white, he would be done. Ninja Sanji would have kicked him out by now. He would have been on the curb the next day. So I don't understand why it is that people get to be racist. Again, I don't think racism should exist, period. But I don't understand why he gets to be racist. All that, because like all that does is create more racists. That only makes people more galvanized towards him and other people. It makes other people think, oh, well, I'm not really racist. I sometimes like the occasional joke, but if he gets to do that, man, I might want to go be racist to more people. And that's not right. So he's honestly making it worse for other people, period. Sorry. Just frustrating.
But no, he is wild on his part with that. But I had something like in my back pocket. Now it's gone.
I'm
It's run
sorry.
away. You scared it off.
Apparently, one of the people who was like, you know, trying to defend the racist Niji Sanji dude I guess for some reason went out of their way and blocked me. I didn't even
Really?
comment on it. What'd I do?
Oh, that was it, because one of my people mentioned it in the chat. He has a part of the Kirsch compilation where he has this extended story where he talks about how white people are weird and creepy for being nice to him.
What
And
the
that's like he described somebody being nice to him,
I won't
and
be
then
nice
for
to him
some
anymore.
reason thought it was weird and creepy. He literally says, word for word, white people are weird and creepy because they do nice things for him, and he always assumes that there's like some secret ulterior motive to it because like that's just how white people are.
I
And
will
it's like that is the most bizarre shit I have ever heard of in my entire life. Like, you ever see how people like make fun of the white woman clutches her purse when a black man walks by kind of thing? And like we all acknowledge that, like, yeah, maybe that's a little bit racist. But like you just outright saying, if a white person holds a door for me, I assume they're gonna bash me in the skull as soon as I walk through it. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, literally, the one thing I could say in possible defense is, yeah, white people have sometimes a weird white savior complex. I've seen it a lot, and I feel like it's actually dumb. And I will clown on white people when they do it because it's honestly kind of stupid. But why can't people just be nice? You know
Yeah, I
you know
think
what I
it's
mean?
important to clarify. He was talking about an old man holding a door for him. He describes it as a little elderly couple, and they held the door for him, and he sees it as like some get out level, they're gonna kidnap me and like brainwash me to be white action.
Dude, white people, old white people, depending on the ones you meet, can be some of the nicest people in the world. Some people, man, they just want to be nice because they're nice.
That's
I
just the
don't
entirety of the
understand it.
Midwest.
Especially just old people. Like,
Most old people are very
maybe
nice.
I could sort of see it if you're talking about like, yeah, there was this like 26-year-old dude who looked like Hulk Hogan in a wife beater who held the door for me. I would still think you were racist, but I could at least maybe see your perspective. But when you're talking about, oh, somebody's little old elderly grandpa hunched over, held the door for me, I just assumed he was trying to kill me.
Mhm.
What?
By the way, this is some rich Asian kid. I didn't actually know he was rich. I mean, he's on the right side of ninja, it sounds like, so maybe he is a rich Asian kid.
He's one of
Is
the
he a
more
nepo
popular
baby?
Niji dudes. He has almost 1 million followers on Twitter.
Oh yeah, he's a
So,
nepo
like,
baby. No, I'm just- No, I just don't understand this. Like again, I feel like everybody can agree that racism is dumb and old. We can joke around with each other like the comedians do on TV in good taste because that's just part of being human. Laughing at the similarities and silly things in our lives together so that we can remind ourselves that this world doesn't suck. But the actual racism that I still see people do from all creeds and people, I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't understand why people can't just be. And it's oddly gotten worse. It's oddly gotten worse, I've noticed. Last couple of years.
So my chat has sent me one of our mortal enemies decided that he was going to side with the Niji racist.
Did he? Which one?
False.
Ducky.
Which one's Ducky?
Oh, Ducky!
So
The
Ducky
fucking
was-
VTuber journalist that writes
Oh,
for fucking
right. I remember him.
yeah.
Yeah, so he's tweeting out pictures of Kiyomaru. Kiyomaru says Victoria Brightshield is my new Niji Oshi, and it's her saying, explain to me how supporting fan artists makes me a corporate bootleaker without using random buzzwords you've learned this week. Little bro, where's your spine? And she posted a picture where she got blocked. And then it's another picture of Kyo saying, you know, maybe you should have just ignored the comment. And it's the racist Niji guy going, thank you, artist. Know that you're amazing. Somebody says, what do you think about straight white men? Remind us of your opinion about straight white men, please, Mr. Positivity and Love Spreader. And he says, they're just as irresponsible and selfish as your response. And all Kyo said is, maybe you should have ignored the comment. And he's right. When you're being accused of being racist to white people, maybe stop making comments like that. Even if it is,
I agree.
even if it's a joke, even if it's a clapback, maybe avoid doing that because there's a lot of heat on you right now. And Ducky
Really?
sees these two things
Mhm.
and says the first one, dunking on taunting hater. Haha, funny Oshi. And then the second one is dunking on taunting hater, but with the most tame white person joke. How dare you? Seriously losing faith in this field. Can't believe you then milked an 8-minute video from it. Where's the voice on the legitimate racism in this space?
When this journalist gives up his job, either because they fire him because they don't have money anymore, or he just quits, maybe I'll take what he just said seriously. Until then,
I am a public Ducky hater. Ducky is the dumbest VTuber, journalist? He even calls himself a journalist.
he's not a
So
journalist.
he loses the right that everybody else has of, I'm just talking about drama I see on the internet.
Oh no,
He literally labels himself a professional journalist.
no. He writes for fucking Kotaku.
Yeah, no, he
Yeah.
writes for Dexterito.
Dexterito.
He writes
Wrong
for
one,
Dexterito.
but both
Now,
fucking suck.
let me just say, Dexterito does do some cool things, but he's a VTuber writer for Dexterito. My man, there is low-hanging fruit, and Dexterito is definitely one of them.
No, Dexterito is on the fucking floor,
Like,
right next
What
to
the-
Kotaku.
I'm legitimately curious what I follow Dexterito because sometimes they produce cool things. What has he written? I am legitimately curious what he has written.
I would also like to point out his third tweet in this tweet chain is literally shilling for Niji Sanji.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
like-
talk about
He says,
corporate
anyways, if you want
bootlickers.
some actual news on Yuki, Violet, and Noct, they just revealed their second anniversary merch program, including their second music single and the final episode of Level Up, and then he links to Niji Sanji. This is literally a promotion tweet that he's trying to dunk on Kiyomaru with.
What
Yeah.
a corporate bootlicker! Oh my gosh, he's just as bad as false. He's
Dude,
just as bad.
People are taking this opportunity to dunk on Kyo so fucking hard. It's like, I love Kyo. He is my favorite bunny boy VTuber next to Hicks.
He's pretty good at telling the news. I feel like he's pretty good at telling the news too. Your boot, sir. You gotta give him one of the VTubers that made that video because he would definitely lick their boot.
Mm-hmm.
That's just an opinion, by the way. Oh,
Hashtag
gosh.
Wild.
VTubergate. Where's the ethics in VTuber journalism?
That is there. Let's. Oh my gosh. The ethics is if you listen. We're not. By the way, we're not really journalists. We're just drama YouTubers, and we like to spout shit. If you're a journalist, you're really not allowed to have an actual opinion. The fourth estate is you tell it as it's seen. You don't comment on it. If you want to comment on it, become a Keemstar or become a Kyo. Don't actually like insert your own opinion if you're going to be a journalist. That's not what I pay for.
I will quote Hexa. Journalists aren't real people.
I agree.
You think you hate journalists enough, but you don't.
I'll be honest with you. I hate them, but I minorly felt bad when I saw that Vice closed their website. It's just
Sucks to suck, Vice.
aside.
Fuck you.
But Vice closed their website. Vice bros, it's all over. If you're a journalist right now, by the way, you should consider learning how to code. Just saying. Actually, don't do that because the AI is going to take over coding too.
Unfortunately, the main problem moved to CNN. Very true.
God, the
Oh, yeah,
comments
and-
on this are the worst thing ever. I feel my brain cells dying. I don't think they're dying. I think they're killing themselves.
I almost
Oh,
forgot Vice was
I
the
killed
one
my
that
own.
did that hit piece on Japan saying that it's pedo nation.
That's right. Vice deserves to burn in hell for what
It's
they
funny
what
because
they
they got
said.
an award for that and then immediately shut their doors.
They got an award and then they went
Yeah.
bankrupt and then they got upset when the owner said, "Sorry, we don't have any more money." Maybe if
Oh, it's hilarious.
maybe if you didn't slander an entire country like the racist bigots you are, maybe you would still have your doors open. Just saying.
And they content blocked it in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
which is fucking insane.
Sorry, my apologies, chat. I don't actually have sympathy for Vice. I had a minuscule amount of sympathy for what used to be. Because Vice used to be good. Vice used to actually tell journalistic stories. They used to go on the ground and do shit. I don't know when that ended, but they stopped.
Moved to CNN, so nothing changed. Yeah, fair.
Oh, cool.
Very fair.
Help.
Yeah.
But yeah, these tweets are killing me. I hate Ducky so much and
No,
all
I
of
know.
his followers. You're all bad people.
Vice used to be insane in the best of ways. I agree. Like, I think that they used to do good real journalism is putting your life on the line to tell exactly what you see. Not what you think about sex positions, or to talk about things that don't matter to the rest of the world.
You know what's really funny and always will be?
Mm.
You know Vice was started by Gavin McInnes?
Yeah, I know.
Early.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah,
Isn't
who's
that
like
funny?
a hyper right-leaning conservative boomer now.
Yeah, he also sold the
Who
company.
constantly talks about how sex is ruining everybody's minds, and consequently like shoved something up his butt on camera for views.
That's what.
It's
He
like
pulled a
thinking about
Ricada.
it.
There's a deep rabbit hole there,
That is a deep rabbit hole, yes.
almost as
like-
deep as his.
Honestly, thinking about it, Vice technically isn't completely done because they still own Jubilee, and Jubilee is still going strong.
Aren't Smite technically owned by, or Vice technically owned by Disney?
I think they have a stake in it. So, what I will say, from what I've learned, Vice's website is closed. They still have a crew, a skeleton crew. They still have people of sorts doing things for them. They no longer have a website, though. They just have social media. So basically, Vice is gone. But they're not gone. They just don't have a place to put all of their bullshit. Which means
they
that...
declared bankruptcy last May.
So if
Yeah.
Vice goes under, they will go under because the people who own them don't want them to continue anymore.
Pretty much, yes.
Mhm.
Because I looked it up, they are owned by George Soros. If he wants Vice to continue, he will make it continue.
Yep.
And
He's
I have a
literally the richest man in the world. If he wants it to keep going, he'll make it keep going.
I have a feeling, just seeing where things are going, we saw this in the beginning of 2023, and we're going to see it more in 2024. These journalist websites that exist are going to cease existing because they don't make money at all. They stopped making money quite a long time ago when they stopped making it about things that matter. Like, I'm sorry, you can only get so much rage bait out of people online before people are tired of seeing it. And now you've dried up. It's time for you to go. And they're going to go kicking and screaming.
So Vice did not file for bankruptcy
No, they didn't.
recently. They filed for bankruptcy a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
last
a
year.
year ago. Which is why I'm surprised
What
that
they're
this still
doing
exists.
is shutting down the Vice website. He says they're moving to become a studio. I don't really understand what that means.
Me neither.
But they basically said they don't want to do like the news and digital content stuff anymore. They want to follow, quote, a studio model, which I don't know.
They want to hire out contractors to do stuff for them, and they're just going to be a hosting site,
It sounds
basically.
like they're gonna try and do YouTube, and then when that doesn't work, I think
They already do YouTube. That's
Well,
why that confuses me. Is they already have like a branch that does like these weird, stupid videos. I don't know what a studio model means in that context.
Yeah, I'm not quite
I
sure
think
what's gonna happen.
I honestly think they're going to try to go for a format like G4 did before they blew up again.
I like how G4
Good
came back just to
luck.
blow it up on like
Good
what, the second or
luck.
third episode.
Yeah.
Did you listen?
I think
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I did watch Gundam's 3-hour-long videos on G4
I did too. I was about to
because
ask.
Frosk and her fucking retard ass, yeah.
Yeah, he put up a pretty good video talking about how that. I'll be honest, listening to that video, if you looked at the behind the scenes of G4, you would have known from the beginning it was a trash fire that wasn't going to continue, and they screwed over
Yeah.
a lot of people that were hoping it would work out. Like, holy fuck! If I was one of the people higher ups, I'd be like,
Yeah.
I am getting out of this as soon as I can.
No, Scab, that doesn't count as resetting the clock. I didn't fawn over Gundam. I
No,
just
you
mentioned
mentioned
his
him.
video.
You mentioned him.
Reset
That
the clock.
counts.
Nope.
Reset the clock, chat. It is now day 1.
God damn it.
We're
Okay,
counting that as
fine.
reset the clock.
Since the clock has been reset, Gundam has a podcast now that he does during the day. Like
Don't be
whenever
silly,
he
Mark
decides to do it.
competition.
He's not competition. He does it during the day. We do at night.
There
Does that
people
at,
have
like, 10
limited
a.m.?
watch time.
Stop it! Yes. I fucking love Gundam. yeah,
But yeah,
I
just
still
blew
need-
themselves up.
I
was
still
funny.
need to do my love confession video.
Which you should. It would be funny.
It would.
I will tomorrow.
Is there anything
But
else?
I think we hit the important stuff, and we got some new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because I think we're probably gonna leave soon, chat. Before we do, I posted something in the chat yesterday, a video titled "I will not be talking about the drama." If you two remember it.
Oh, I
from
vaguely
one of
remember. Yeah.
my nemesis, one of my mini nemesis.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
As we started our stream, they started a stream called "I will now be talking about the drama." So as soon as we are done here, I have content to look into.
Yeah. Do you want to mention who this is?
I mean, I can because we talked about it on my stream before.
Yeah.
It is my favorite person to hate, Mari Yume. Also, I'm going to continue saying Nemesis.
Nemesis.
Namaste.
That is your.
I
Unique
looked it up,
Gundam is
by
a
the way.
special guest. Yeah.
I am 99% sure she deleted her video that we criticized last time.
Pretty sure.
It was
Yeah.
Couldn't
up
find it.
there a couple weeks ago when I looked at it again because I tried to get some more information out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it is gone as of a couple days ago when I went to check.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know where it went. I think she
Oh.
finally realized it was bad.
I guess she blocked the podcast Twitter too.
That's
Hold on.
funny.
Let me go to my other alt.
She, funnily enough, did not block my main Twitter account before it got suspended again because I had sent her a message on it.
Mhm.
And she tried to like shift the narrative. And she's like, I don't understand why you're stalking me and leaving me dozens of comments. And it's like literally the only other time I've communicated with you was I sent you one DM and you immediately blocked me. You have been ordained by God to receive exactly 2 messages from me. And you have twisted that into stalking and harassment.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so I decided just to look at her stream that she ended an hour ago. She had a 17-minute starting soon screen for an hour and 49-minute stream.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Now that's a minor thing to comment on, but that is a long time. I have told people, and I will continue to tell people, 5 minutes max. Any more, and your chat will start leaving, because they are here for you, not the music. If you want to do music, do a music channel.
You
Let's do
probably
decent.
didn't notice that, but if you go to about 17 minutes, there's people in her chat saying, "Where's Mari? Is she okay?"
I'm sorry, I
There's
should
somebody that
laugh.
just says
I
waiting
should
a
laugh.
couple times.
Like,
Also, like, she's doing this stream with just her VR chat model, so she's like showing no receipts on anything, I guess. It's just her babbling.
that's common.
Which I'm fine with that. The thing is, I don't think she ever does enough research to be able to get away with that.
No, and here's what's funny. I talked about this with her before her manager blocked us also. I talked with her manager about this. I said, you know, if you want to be a journalist or talk about things, you really need to put time and effort into this because she looks like a major asshole for this. And her manager was like, yeah, I'm trying to tell her to I'm trying to coax her away from this kind of stuff because she does get into trouble for this kind of stuff. So even her manager knows
wait.
that this is an issue.
Her manager blocked us all?
She blocked me.
Okay, I was about to say,
They
like,
definitely blocked me originally.
she's farming ad revenue? Yeah, that makes sense.
Fine. And here's the thing, fine.
See,
Find your
chat,
ad
the big
revenue.
issue isn't necessarily that she's just dumb and doesn't know what she's talking about. It's that she will make really big, wide, sweeping claims without knowing what she's talking about. Like, I actually had to call Oka out for this last week with her thumbnail where originally she was gonna go with a thumbnail that was a lot more accusatory towards our subject of last week. And I had to be like, no, we can't have like heavily accusatory thumbnails. It needs to be either very vague or extremely specific with what we know for sure happened.
Yeah.
We can't have like wishy-washy, oh, they're a terrible person that did X, Y, and Z, and then not have like damning evidence for that.
Yep.
Mhm.
Mari doesn't take that into account at all.
I feel like Mari needs to ask for a refund on her manager because they're not doing a good job. If Mari continues to do this, I'm gonna say that she's not getting good advice. Like I don't know how. I mean, maybe she's got the subs because she's a cool entertainer. And here's the thing: you can be a cool entertainer, just don't tell the fucking news if you don't know what you're fucking doing. Like
she got all of her subs from making videos called like how to be popular as a VTuber.
is that
and
what
stuff
she
like that.
did? Okay, she's just okay.
If you look back, some of her first videos are how to be a VTuber, how to be popular as a VTuber before she had any other content.
And you guys say I do clickbait stuff. I mean, I
and
do.
Her videos were always, funnily enough, one of her pieces of advice was to never talk about drama.
Really?
Yeah, it's hilarious. She doesn't take any of her own advice. No wonder I followed her before. Yeah, a lot of people I think did because the videos really took off and hit the algorithm because at the time there was like a VTuber boom going on. And I think a lot of people took those videos like seriously because I've heard some of her talking points mentioned before. And I've seen in threads where people will link her videos when somebody asks, what should I do to be like a good VTuber? Her videos suck. You should not
Maybe we
listen
should
to
debunk them
anything
one
she
day.
says in her videos. What you should know is if you want to be a content creator, you need to find something you are passionate about, not something that's just like in the media. Because if you're just doing something that's going to be like in the media and on the front page, you're going to burn yourself out and you're going to hate what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do that. Because then your chat's going to know that you're not having fun, they're going to know that you're not happy, and then they're not going to want to be around because you just seem sour and dour all the time.
Oh yeah, chat. I've seen it multiple times.
Like, yeah, maybe I would tell people, maybe there's some stuff you should avoid to choose as like your thing that you enjoy because it could bring like extra controversy and drama and make it harder for you to like grow. But don't just choose stuff you hate just because it's popular. And that was one of her suggestions, was just do the popular thing. That's not good. You're not going to be happy doing that.
No. Yeah, I think maybe one day we should debunk some of those things because as somebody who knows people that are famous in the content creating sphere, I can tell you that she's probably wrong on a lot of things. So
Yeah.
maybe one day it's worth looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Video
I think
topic.
that works with AVGN because he played the games that sucked ass. But there's something to be had. There's fun to be had in playing things that are terrible.
Yeah, and here's the thing. There really only needs to be one AVGN, alright? You can't have multiple people that suck at playing video games. That's why Aaron Hansen is getting less and less popular. Because sucking at playing
He was
video
popular
games...
for his animations.
Oh, yeah. But that what I'm trying to say is sucking at something is only cool with a few people. That's why DSP isn't that successful at it. That's why Aaron Hansen isn't that good at it. And that's why so many other people that just be like, oh, I suck at video games. It doesn't work. All right? Only 2 or 3 people can make it interesting. And
I think
most
Let's
of you
Game
are
It
not
Out
one of
makes it
them.
interesting. I'm shilling Let's Game It Out to the chat. Go watch his content.
Well, okay, here's the difference. Let's Game It Out doesn't suck at video games. He's very smart with video games. And I say that because he knows how to break them. It takes more skill to break a video game than it does to intentionally be bad. And Let's
To
Game
be
It Out
fair,
is good.
90% of the time, him breaking a video game is just pure brute force.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. But again, I don't think you can be stupid and do that as well. Because I feel like he's looking for it. And he
I
must...
miss Super Best Friends. I didn't think Super Best Friends sucked at games, though. Did they? They were more like, they made it fun to watch. Because they were, like, actual friends. I didn't feel fake, like, anytime Aaron talks to somebody. I hate Aaron Hansen. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to say that.
I know you love dunking on Aaron Hansen.
Oh, yeah.
Stop! And
Love
like
is
he
missing
still
Brit.
like tries to lord over JonTron, even though JonTron was clearly the better creator and is clearly the only one that's gonna make it out of normal boots.
Oh, yeah. Everybody in normal boots besides JonTron's been fucked.
It wasn't
Everybody.
normal boots that got in controversy recently. Did you know gaming?
Did
We
you know
talked about them.
gaming? We did.
Everybody in normal boots is like burning themselves down,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
except John.
Except JonTron.
JonTron
who-
is gonna be the only one that's like, huh, ain't that funny? Anyway.
Oh yeah, like literally.
He'll just make another Banana Republic joke on Twitter and get people mad again.
Yep.
Like JonTron is the only one that left, got married, wised up, and even though he makes less content, every time he puts out a video, it gets over 1 million views. And maybe
Yeah.
It's the
sometimes
same
even
thing
over
with
2.
PewDiePie. Like, look at a lot of the creators that are in PewDiePie's same space. A lot of them just don't seem happy. Some of them have like fallen off pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's like PewDiePie's doing well. His Bjorn is so fucking cute.
Yeah, I hope he
Um,
keeps him off. the
Cinnamon
internet for the
Toast
most
Ken
part.
is doing really well because he still does stuff with Buff Pro.
Cinnamon
Yeah,
Toast
he's
Ken's
doing
pretty
really
normal
good.
PewDiePie
too.
too.
Has
Yeah,
PBG
he
had
still
any
does
PewDiePie
drama?
still shows up to like talk shit with them.
So PBG
Yeah.
is known to get into shit and then just like quietly pretend that he didn't. Like
Wait,
with
who?
Peanut Butter Gamer, like when the
Oh yeah, no. He
Yeah.
sucks.
he's one of those guys that likes to bark, and then when he realizes he's wrong, he pretends that he would like you to pretend that he didn't actually do that. JonTron won. Yeah, it's JonTron won. JonTron won. He had some weird things happen to him. He got into a debate with Destiny, and he misrepresented himself a lot. But I still think he came out on the end, and I still think he's a good person, and I don't think he's racist.
Do you want
Speaking
to
of,
know why I think it
Yeah.
worked out that way though? Like why JonTron is the only one that can go like the extra mile? I think JonTron is the only one who like endeared himself as a person to his fans.
He did.
yeah,
Like I'm gonna say, and some people probably disagree, and which is fine. I think a lot of the creators, specifically that went around normal boots, and some adjacent ones like Cat Icarus, Peanut Butter Gamer, all of them. I don't think any of them ever really endeared themselves to the audience. It's just they were covering stuff the audience was interested in. It's the same thing like those top 5 channels. Nobody gives a shit about the guy behind the top 5 channels. They just want their top 5 really quick and then they move on.
Mhm.
If they could get it from you, if they could get it from another guy, if they could get it from a chat bot, doesn't really matter. They don't care about you.
No, I
And
agree.
I think it's the
Like-
same thing with them is people like your content because you're
Yeah.
covering weird games that other people never talk about. They don't actually like you specifically. If
Yeah,
somebody
it's
else
the
was
same
talking
with,
about that game, they'd go there.
it's the same with fucking what was the channel that was super popular in the mid 2010s? Danger Dolan. and
Yeah.
stuff.
Mm.
And they fell off. They hit the ground hard, and it's a decomposing corpse at this point.
The only thing I know
Now
about
all
them
their
is
viewers are watching shorts with Family Guy clips underneath them.
the only thing
Yeah.
I know about Danger Dolan is one of the people that was on their cast was kind of stalked by Chris Chan. That's about it.
Shima,
The cat girl?
the cat girl.
No, they
Who
were
went
an
missing and got
artist.
replaced, by the way.
They were an artist.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember the name.
Doobie.
I think so. They were an artist. They
That's his
actually-
wife.
I can't remember.
Doobie Do Over is
Yes,
his
it is
wife.
Doopy. It is Doopy because she drew something for him and he was nice to her and he freaked her out, and so she joined the farms to talk about him, and he was like, "Damn it! Why are all the girls like why are all the girls betraying me and talking about me?" It's just like, because you freaked them out, Tris.
Yeah, Doobie Do Over is his wife.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of why I liked Danny. For the same reason. He feels like a real person.
Oh,
Mhm.
And
yeah.
feels like he's making. I still don't like that he did the whole groupie thing. I think that's creepy.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I don't-
like it's one of those things that I expect because he's a band person. Doesn't make it right. But Danny, I feel like, is more of a human than Aaron. Aaron, like, here's the thing, and he can, if he ever sees this, I don't care how mad he gets, he treats his audience like a product. Like, there's a difference between being there and making content for your audience and turning your audience into a product. That is the difference between him and JonTron. JonTron recognizes that his audience is something that he wants to make happy. That's why he covers and makes things in his way. There will never be another JonTron because only JonTron can be crazy and stupid and just a little bit retarded in what he does. But Aaron is replaceable. Everything that Aaron is can be done by me, by any of you, by anybody in the audience. And I think Aaron knows that. I think that's what pisses him off, because he got rid of the one thing that makes him unique and traded it for something that is not unique. Sitting on a couch and yelling about how much he hates Sonic.
Man, okay,
Which lost him
so
his Sonic deal.
And who
I
busted his Sonic
decided-
deal.
I decided to look at Dolan stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and like all of the videos were like getting like, you know, still pretty decent views, about like 55k each.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as they did like, you know, quote unquote Shima's return, it jumped up to like 400,000, 600,000, and as soon as people realized they ain't the same person, they hated it and left again. Because just, yeah, all of their stuff is not as popular as it used to be, for fucking sure.
Mm-hmm. Aaron
And
was
I think
the big
he has
name.
like I think he also had a half-assed VTuber model for a while too.
I'm sorry, I could not play Sonic. I hate it. I mean, that's fine if you don't like Sonic. I know a lot of people don't really like Sonic. I know, Mizu, you don't really like Sonic that much.
I made chat angry with that one.
That's fine. Listen, you don't have to like Sonic, but
No, I made chat angry with saying that all the old Sonics are legitimately bad-made games, and Sonic in concept is just a bad game.
I mean, I kind of disagree. But again, it's fine. That's fine. It's one of those things where I don't know. I feel like we could argue about that for a while.
I wouldn't argue about it. I just
Well, not
'cause I know
really.
I'm right.
Not really argue, but talk about it.
See, chat agrees with me. They are.
Okay. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I believe. Oh, goodness.
The best thing to ever come out of Sonic was Sonic EXE.
Remember when half of YouTube was Game Grumps animations? See, here's the
I was
thing.
waiting for that reaction from the chat.
Game Grumps animations really carried them for a while. That is honestly, in my personal opinion, without all of their lovelies making their animations, I feel like they would have fallen off a long time ago.
Oh, 100%. Some of the stuff like that happened just isn't funny without the animation backing it up.
I agree.
Like the Yoda joke thing, the bad Yoda jokes.
It was funny
That's
the
not
first time.
funny. It's like kind of the first time. It's a bit more legitimately funny when somebody does a whole animation of like a little Yoda doing it and doing all this weird shit to Luke to like try and get Luke to crack a smile.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just watch the Aaron clip like a second time, it doesn't get funnier on a rewatch. It gets less funny because it's like, okay, yeah, these are just bad jokes with a bad Yoda impression.
Yeah, I get the feeling that Aaron really wants to like be big in Hollywood. Good luck, buddy. They're gonna use AI making jokes before they use you.
Sonic Pinball was godlike. Okay, before we leave tonight, chat, here's my gaming hot take to give y'all another one to fester on. The best game that ever came out of the Pokemon franchise was Pokemon Troze.
I don't know what that is, but okay.
I saw my legs and arms.
What did he say?
Who?
Your boyfriend in the background.
I don't know, he's talking to his friends.
Mm.
Oh, he happened to say that right as I said it.
Your girlfriend in
Yes.
chat should be raging. She loves Game Grumps. Well, your girlfriend is allowed to have her opinion. I just think that Game Grumps was made for an era of people that has passed. They are trying and failing to pivot to something else, and I don't feel like they're gonna keep going. The age
It's
of Let's
okay to
Plays
have
are
an
over.
opinion. It's okay to have an opinion even if they're wrong.
The age of sitting on your couch and just playing games and joking around and screaming at the screen is over. What they do,
Mm.
over. It's gone. It's done with. It was fun for a little bit while I was there because I liked some of their stuff too, but it's gone now. All right, by nobody, I really just mean most people are shifting away from it. And that's all I have for tonight.
Actually, chat, you all disappointed me. This is how I'm announcing that later this week we're having a Pokemon Troze stream. The fact that none of you know what the fuck this is just, it's a crime against the world.
Power World's the best
Playing
thing to come off of
Troze later
Pokemon?
this week. I don't know what day, but we're playing Troze.
Anyway.
Maybe we do it Saturday.
Oh goodness. Anyway.
Oh, do you have anything else you want to say before we head out?
Me?
I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I don't really think I have anything. Like, there was a couple minor things, but I don't think there's anybody else that we really want to talk about that would be interesting. Chat, we're gonna give you like a minute. Now's the time. Anything in the VTuber world that you want us to talk about briefly? If we've heard about it, we can talk about it.
I just remembered brief thing we could talk about. Bo Sheep being an idiot again.
Oh, do you want to talk about that?
Okay. Well, I will read verbatim what she posted today. Where'd it go? Alright, so Bo Sheep posted today about 7 hours ago saying, well, it's happened. My child, who loves me for who I am, told their friend that my pronouns are they/them. They got a message from their parents that they don't want our kids interacting anymore. I am devastated and feel oddly guilty.
Here's my hot take, chat. I don't believe this is real.
I think
Like,
I think her.
I gave this
interactions were
one to
low.
Oka. Because Oka and Lumi brought this to me, and I think I was the first one of us to say it's not real, and I think I have the best explanation for why. Because Bo Sheep / Samurai is British, and in Britain, saying something like that is literally a crime. So even like the more conservative people in Britain typically won't say that stuff out loud because they know it's a crime and they know they'll get in trouble for it.
I have seen many different instances of women voicing their opinions there and them getting arrested for it. Not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's what I have seen.
You first have to convince me that Bo Sheep has her kids going to school with the only bigot left in London, and then you have to convince me that the only bigot left in London is dumb enough to not realize that they'd get arrested. I don't believe it. I think she's lying for sympathy.
Yeah,
I do too. And I am not gonna
Thought
say
she was Canadian. I'm pretty sure she's British.
I think she's British.
And here's the thing, like, regardless.
Same thing applies in Canada, though.
Regardless of the pronouns thing, that's that's not really the conversation that like I'm interested in. The thing that like bothers me, and I think the thing that everybody has criticized Bo Sheep or Simrai for, is her children are being brought into this conversation. My personal opinion is, again, mentioned it earlier, children really should not be talked about on the internet, and they have really built up their viewer base around trying to use their child for sympathy points. I think that is disgusting. I think that is immoral, and I don't understand why people continue to fall for that, because it's gross. It's gross.
Yeah, and it's like I honestly never heard of Bo Sheep before the whole like, hey, I'm gonna talk about my kid's sewer slide attempt.
I thought she was from Canada. Is she from Canada? I have no idea. If she's in Canada, I still don't believe it, because I think you can still get arrested in Canada for the same thing.
Yes.
You have it.
She brought her kid into her work VTubing. Yeah, she's brought her kids up a lot.
Isn't she like a 18+ creator as well?
I'm not sure I would call her 18+. She definitely, like, her original model was definitely like Dommy Mommy Whips and Chains Excite Me bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But I don't think she ever did any specific like not safe for work stuff.
Right.
The implication was there, but I don't think it would.
There's a London, Ontario that could be causing confusion. Fair enough. Fair enough. Regardless of where it is, if it's in Canada or it's in England, very similar.
Let's just admit, chat, they're both basically the same country.
Yeah.
You can't get arrested for saying you don't want someone to yeah, true. However, what she is implying, or they are implying, is the parents said no, and they think it is because of their pronouns.
No, so this was brought up specifically, was she claimed that the other parents said that her being a they them made her a groomer.
Oh, did she like add on to
which
that?
would violate the law.
Yes, that would violate the law. And is untrue.
So she tried to like make it small, neutral. First off, by the way, just so we're clear, I hate Samurai and Bo Sheep. She is a terrible person, just in general. That is before we start bringing her kids into everything. So if this happened to her, I'm sorry that it happened to her. Feel like a little bit bad, but I don't believe it happened because it feels like she lies all the time.
It's like
Isn't she anti-law
for
or
me,
something?
it's between. I think for me, it's between that and also depends how old the kid is. To be fucking honest, because
Yeah.
from what I hear, she has like 3. If the child is like elementary school age, I get it. If the kid's like a teenager, then the other parents can fucking shut up.
Will the post be deleted though? I don't think so. Her followers shill everything she does.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it came out it was completely fake, she'd never delete it. She'd just double down on it.
Yep.
Last thing, just as a joke before we go, because it reminded me, because Samurai and Bo Sheep are always talking about how she's autistic. Fruit self-diagnosed herself as autistic.
Oh, that's
and
right.
She says it has explained her whole worldview.
That is right. Oh my
The
gosh.
autism caused the cheating.
Some people get confused with the fruit thing because she mentioned she went to a doctor and they think she got diagnosed as autistic. But what she actually said was, the doctor brought up some points with me and now I think I'm autistic. So she self-diagnosed herself as autistic, and she included the fact that a doctor brought some points up with her because she thinks it adds credibility to her, when it doesn't.
Now, chat, you all know how I feel about self-diagnosis. Just to reiterate, I think that thinking you might be on the spectrum is fine. You should not tell the internet, oh, I'm on the spectrum because I think I have some of the same things as people that are neurodivergent or have autism or whatever. You need to get consulted and actually diagnosed by a doctor, like I was when I was age 10. So, I don't if Fruit is saying, oh, the doctor said it could be the case, I don't believe she has autism. And if she does, I no longer have autism. Sorry, I'm gonna let go of it just
like
because of that.
Hey, just because of the post that I made, the cure for autism is just telling people Fruit self-diagnosed with it.
I don't know.
No one will want to be autistic anymore.
No, I made the joke, and it is a little crass, I know, but I made the joke that explains the cheating. That's not indicative.
Hey,
Autistic people don't cheat. As far as I know, a lot of autistic people actually just don't like get married, for the most part. But it's a joke.
Yeah.
Fruit is trying to grasp it. Fruit is grasping at anything to be relevant, in my personal opinion. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, she's one of the least popular VShojo members, so like.
I don't know.
But I think we're good for the night.
I think so too.
Again. We're about at 3 hours.
Yeah.
But we love you guys, chat. We're sorry this one was a day late, but it was better.
It
I
was.
think.
It was.
Yeah.
I had some time to look into stuff. Now, and obviously with everything that we covered tonight, some of it is take it with a grain of salt, and some of it is, just giving our own opinions on stuff. But yeah.
Don't go hating and harassing nobody.
Oh yeah. Obviously, don't go hate and harass these people. You can talk about my rule is you can talk about
Point
them,
and laugh, chat.
can
Point and
laugh at them.
Love.
but you should not contact them. And not like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like literally, don't talk to these people, because watching them is way more funny than trying to get them to do something. Imagine it like a bear at the zoo. You don't want to touch the bear because there's a chance that the bear mauls you to death. I don't want to get mauled to death, so I'm just gonna watch because that's more fun. Anyway, chat. I do have an outro song for you. I have an outro song for you,
And
chat.
I am gonna send you guys to one of my favorite little VTubers who I think needs more love and attention.
Yeah, Akko, you should send the YouTube crowd over to Pippa because she is streaming Katawa Shoujo, one of
Is
my
she?
favorite visual novels.
Remember to
oh.
give
Get
them
the-
blankies, chat.
I can't redirect on
Not
this
y'all.
on this channel yet. I think I need to do. Dang it!
Fucking
I'll try and enable it next time. Anyway, chat.
Go watch Pippa. She's flirting with disabled girls.
Yes, chat. After we do the song, go watch Pippa. So, thank you guys for coming. Have a fantastic night, and I will see you later.